Well, hello, and welcome to the Lost Archives. My name's Owen, and I'm the Dungeon Master of this ragtag group of heroes and adventurers who you can see. And there's this person below me who you don't know yet. We'll introduce him in a minute, but I think we should start with our regular cast. Please introduce yourselves, lovely people, because the campaign is all about you.
I'll go first, I think. I'm Claire. I'm actually Claire. And I play the character Mira, who is a Dragonborn Sorcerer. Half red dragon, half silver dragon. Who, if you tuned into last week, had a couple of revelations. It was very cool. Still don't know the whole story, and neither does she, but that is canon. So, yes, that's me, and this is me.
This is Claire. I can actually point on this. Wait, hang on. There we go. I can point. There she is. She's right next to me. Alrighty. Next player to introduce themselves. Give us a big smile. Give us a wave, and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Michael. I am playing Lockie, the Warforged Artificer. Trekking through the jungle. Just had a whole lot of information downloaded. There's still a little bit that he has to divulge at some stage, so we'll see what happens. Because there's secrets. Secrets, guys.
Alright, well, I guess I'll jump in next. Hey guys, I'm Jared and I play the character of Jin. He is a level 6 Law Bard and a level 2 Hexblade Warlock. I do a bit of the spy work of the group, sort of hide in plain sight sort of thing. And I'm currently an associate and ally of the Tempest Guild and is helping them in their goal of stopping the Queen of Dragons to Tiamat.
I'm Allie, and I'm playing the character Lyra. She's a straight-up moon druid, and she's mostly just happy to be trekking along in a jungle with her new friends. She's just excited.
And tonight we are joined by a lovely guest character. Now, I was going to say we're not going to introduce your character just yet, but I realised that the overlay includes both your character's name and your character art. So let's not say. Yeah, it's a classic Owen maneuver to be way over prepared and actually, as a result, provide way too much information. So what I'm going to get you to do is introduce who you are, but don't tell us anything about your character yet, because we are going to introduce your character as the story progresses.
Alright, well I guess I'll just start from what we know. My name's Matt, and I will be playing the mysterious character Yervith, who all will be revealed later. In due time.
All will be revealed later. I'm hoping that we can get you in nice and early. I don't want to have you sitting there just watching the stream.
That's alright.
No, I really want to bring you in quickly. So what we're going to do is the chat already excited about the cameras. Yes, if you're listening to the podcast, you've got no idea what's happening. But if you're watching us live, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you will be able to notice that you can see our faces. Oh, we've got some fangirl for Jin going on. Comments. Oh my god, Jin is so handsome. I know. I was gonna reveal that. Your male cousin, we should add, just so people don't think. Yeah. So if you're watching this live, we have a new overlay for when we're doing Theatre of the Mind and behind the scenes stuff. Not behind the scenes stuff. Sorry, Theatre of the Mind and off map stuff. I will also bring us across to our classic overlay, which I've modified as well, to include our new lovely character art. But yeah, you'll still be able to see the roles. You should still be able to see the character art cycling through as well, which doesn't just show the current players, it shows all the character art we've done for all the players and all the characters who've been in the show. But yeah, let us know what you think. I'm really excited to have this. I'm really excited to be able to have other people with me, and it's not just me by myself, which is a bit sad. It's nice to have other people here, so I'm not just looking at all grayed out faces of people. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in so long. It's nice to have the video, because we all live in different states now, so it is nice to have the video.
Well, last time I saw you was on the freeway back from Ballarat.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's right. And we both waved when we probably should have been focused on driving.
Well, I slowed right down because I was way ahead, and I slowed down, waved because I knew you were going, and then I'm like, okay, and then I sort of sped back off to the actual speed limit.
Wow, I mean, you say the actual speed limit. I reckon that would have been a little bit of fun. No, we're not going to go there. Alrighty, so I will quickly power through our recap so we can jump into the session. I don't want us to have us waiting for too long for the good stuff. So let me take my jumper off. Let's get serious. Let's do some D&D, everybody. So, Mira, Jin, Lockie, and Lyra are in or have traveled from Palin, sorry, the capital of the Ocean Empire, and now the location for a council meeting of lords, spies, and mercenary groups, as the threat that has been posed by the Order of the Dragon looms larger each passing day. The group have traveled quite a distance from Palin now. They have traveled up towards the northeast of the world of Nostea, towards an island nation of Nunia, a ravaged, bare hunk of rock in the middle of an Arctic Ocean that is actually a caldera, the center of a volcano, with a rich, dense jungle growing in the very center. Contrast to the icy, windswept shores of the island. After traveling through the town of Borskir Bridge, they traveled by airship to the town of Borskir Bridge. After traveling through the town of Borskir Bridge, gathering some supplies, recruiting interns, classic Tempest Guild behavior, they have finally journeyed into the jungle beyond in search of a dwarf, a bearer of the white dragon mask known as Varram, also known as Varram the White. The journey into the jungle was less than smooth. Originally traveling in on the back of Lyra's back, as she turned into a giant eagle. The landing through the dense canopy proved somewhat problematic. The party crashed to the jungle floor, right next to the body of an adventurer who had been devoured by the plants. Not really learning from this obvious signposting by their dungeon master, the party continued to stomp through the jungle at their own leisure, and came across a group of carnivorous plants which proceeded to munch on several members of the party. Luckily, Lyra was able to transform into a giant snake and grapple the plant, holding it in place, while Mira and Jin fired magical beams at it, and Lockie just cut sections off it like a badass. We left off last session after the party had encountered a village of lizard folk deep within the jungle who seemed to vaguely recognize some of the aspects of Mira, some of the dual chromatic nature of Mira, inviting them into a large, long house in the center of their village. They came across a series of painted messages on the walls, which seemed to have an interesting effect on one of the characters, Lockie. The sequence of images seemed to be some sort of activation code, allowing Lockie to finally access parts of his memory that had been lost to him for the past couple of decades, centuries or so, which revealed interesting information involving the ritual needed to release Tiamat and the role that one of the characters might play in that, which Lockie knows and has not shared with anyone, correct, Lockie?
No, I have not shared anything more than was on the screen.
Fantastic. So as long as no one in this group listens to the podcast, they've got no idea what I'm talking about. So actually, for once, I'm actually kind of counting on you guys being terrible fans of this show. Just don't let me down. Don't let me down. In the meantime, the rest of the party saw that a series of paintings behind this area depicted a chromatic dragonborn, a dual chromatic dragonborn wearing a strange amulet, an amulet that was actually sitting on a pedestal, a dais, right in front of the group. After speaking with the lizard folk and convincing them that Mira may be the one who is destined to hold this amulet, Mira stepped forwards and took the amulet for herself. After using some of her magical sorceress energy, her elemental energy, to empower the amulet, a blast of energy emulated from this amulet, and Mira gained the ability to modify the energy of her spells, change it from different attack types to her two elemental forms, ice and fire. However, we're not going to jump in with the party. Our story begins with another person. A person who traveled to the jungles of Nunia with a group known as the Oxenfurt Historical Society, an expeditionary force paid for by them.
Oh, nice.
After spending some time traveling through the jungle, meeting much misfortune, we see a lone figure climbed up in the branches of a large tree, cloak wrapped around him, keeping him hidden from sight and unfriendly eyes. The green foliage on one side, the green foliage appearance of the cloak on one side blending in with the canopy above, the strange brown bark-like texture on the other, blending him with the trunk of the tree. Matt, would you like to introduce your character?
Alright. So Yervith is a wood elf, ranger rogue, who's a bit of a tracker, a bit of a scout. Grew up on the streets of Oxenfurt, but quickly outgrew the city life and wanted to go out into the world, explore the city, explore the world, earn his keep here and there where he could work for different people. And yeah, basically, really trying to find his place, find his people. Sort of never really had strong connection with friends or family. So I guess that's probably what he's really looking for. But the closest he got to that was unfortunately the expedition, the members of that expedition, where he'd been on a few missions with them, a couple of expeditions around the continent, around Nostea, and this was I guess it's meant to be just another job.
Yeah, I think you probably have been pitched to it. The Lord that sponsored this expedition told you it would be 2 to 3 months at most. All you were to do was to travel with your group into a section of unexplored jungle, and there was some talk of potentially some sort of interesting ruin or artifact there, but not much detail was given at the time. It was sort of the way it was presented to you was pretty innocuous, just a very standard search and report back, reconnaissance style mission.
Yeah,
You weren't really
it was very. Yeah, it was very understated. It was not meant
Yes.
to be anything that would be too dangerous, so to speak. It was
absolutely.
more
I don't
just,
think you guys even applied for hazard pay. Like for this one, it wasn't strictly
not at all.
necessary. Yeah.
I was just a little bit disappointed about that. Could have got a little bit more out of the expedition.
Yeah,
This is overtime.
Betty's regretting that right now. Yeah, overtime.
Yeah.
Your overtime. Wow. Yeah. Well, I think you can. I think we would all like to hear a little bit, just a hint of what life has been like for Yervith these past few months.
Yeah. So I suppose, really, I mean, for Yervith, he's really just been focusing on, I guess, just surviving in such a inhospitable landscape. It's probably an environment that he would be somewhat familiar with, but not to this extent. This is quite foreign to him. He's used to rolling forests of the continent, nothing this exotic. So he's equal parts, trying to keep alive, trying to stay alive really in such a hospitable place, but also secretly quite like this is great. Like I'm sort of in my element a little bit. After the initial loss of the expedition, he's really just being, I suppose, just not necessarily just surviving, but perhaps maybe trying to enact his own revenge or his own justice against those who might have had a hand in the expedition's downfall.
The words of Jaden, the expedition leader, sort of echoing in your ear most days and sort of waking you up in a cold sweat. That live for us all, damn it! The last thing you heard him say, really echoing in your ears. You have been aware of this lizard folk village for a couple of days now. Because it is so hard to travel through the jungle and the dangers of the upper canopy are quite substantial, you have mostly avoided getting too high up in the trees, which makes it very hard to figure out where you are. You've had to rely on your natural tracking skills, your natural survival skills. But as you say, the environment of this jungle is very strange. The fact that it is in a completely sort of icy environment, all of the warmth and the energy comes from the volcano. So most of the plants in the lower sort of story of the jungle don't photosynthesize. They rely on the chemical energy from the volcano. So the undergrowth is dense everywhere. It's very unlike most jungles where most of the foliage is concentrated at the top where the sun is. It's dense everywhere, which means there is a huge amount of life and dangerous life at every layer of the jungle.
Sure.
You would have probably seen, I think that what makes the most sense is you were tracking a group of Yuan T that were making their way to this lizard folk village. The group was quite strong. There were 6 Yuan T purebloods, and so humanoid Yuan T, and then there was a Yuan T that was monstrous with these massive snake-like appendages that kind of warned you off a little bit to take on solo. So you were happy to just track and watch from afar for the moment. You saw them raid the lizard folk village. You saw them attack and take lizard folk children, lizard folk adults, take supplies, and then disappear back into the jungle. Not really knowing whether or not the lizard folk were trustworthy, knowing that they're the enemy of my enemy style thing, you have kept close to the lizard folk village, but not really engaged with them yet. You've managed to stay out of sight with help from your cloak. You've been keeping your distance out of caution. You were surprised to see a group approach the village from the southwest. A Dragonborn, a Warforged, another elf, possibly, you're not sure, maybe it could have been a wood elf, could have been a high elf, could have been a half elf. And then a very strange elf who transformed into a lizard moments before, transformed into a lizard folk moments before the lizard folk sort of captured them. You'd seen their scouts and you knew they were hiding there, and this group just walked right into it, basically like an ambush. You've watched them be greeted initially quite aggressively by the lizard folk, but eventually after some conversation was had, which you sort of can't hear from where you are, the lizard folk lower their spears and invite them into the village. This seems like a good sign to Yervith.
Yeah.
Potentially the lizard folk aren't the dangers that you might have once thought. What comes next, though, within sort of 10-15 minutes of the group arriving in the village and going into the longhouse, the windows explode in this brilliant red and blue light, red and white light, I should say, from spilling out from either side, like this discharge of immense magical proportion. A few moments later, you see lizard folk sort of running around, looking in, and then beginning to bow towards the hut from outside.
Oh,
Yeah. If you would,
All
yeah. If you wanted to make an insight check or Arcana check, you are absolutely welcome to. Our first roll of the night and our first guest character.
Oh, definitely gonna roll insight. Hopefully this works. Yes.
23.
Nice.
Plus nine insight. Just a little bit of an insight there. Yeah. The lizard folk, initially their body language was indicating they were quite suspicious of this group. Then that suspicion sort of turned into cautious familiarity. Now it is outright veneration. They are bowing before this hut. Whatever that magical energy was, it has really significantly changed the opinions of the lizard folk towards this group. You see that the guards around the perimeter, they've moved away, they have abandoned their posts, and they are now bowing for this, basically this area, this hut. Very strange. You probably see this as your opportunity if you were going to stealth into the village. There's no guards. Doesn't look like anyone's keeping watch. Now might be a good time.
Yeah, I think I probably will. Yeah, look, I'd sort of like slink, like sort of try like lower myself down from the canopy, from the trees.
Yeah.
And sort of position myself, like maybe go across some of the branches, sort of very dexterously move across the trees and the branches to get a bit closer to the village. And then when I'm sufficiently close, I'd like just sort of slink on down to the ground and sort of squirrel my way into the across the perimeter of the village. And
I love it.
Sort of try and get a little bit close to one of the houses or one of the constructions and just sort of chill out.
What you've described sounds amazing. The question is, can you roll a stealth check to match it?
I can certainly try.
You should be fairly stealthy, I'm guessing, as a...
Yeah.
Say yeah in that exact same way when I know I'm not. A natural 20 for a total of 30.
That is 30.
Which makes a lot of sense given the cloak you're wearing right now.
That's true.
You wrap your cloak around you, and if someone were to be watching this, they would see that as Yervith pulls his cloak around him, brings up the hood and hides his face, and then drops down from this branch, the cloak shifts in color. The bark, as he moves away from the green leaves, the barky appearance taking over the full length of the cloak. As he then takes onto the undergrowth, the red foliage, because most of the leaves down here are quite red and quite dark blue and purple, the cloak changes color again, taking on the appearance of this foliage as he moves between it, almost like a chameleon. He proceeds on foot, darting through the village, moving out of sight. You walk right past a group of guards who don't even look at you. You just immediately move straight past them, all their attention focused on this building as you just slip quietly through. You hear the sounds of conversation coming from inside. You hear the Warforged voice, so there's quite a tinny sort of robotic sounding voice, speaking quite animatedly, asking questions and sort of demanding answers from someone else in that hut, someone called Mira. Demanding explanation, demanding to know more about what they're doing and what their plan is, why they're here, what their motivation is. But the lizard folk haven't noticed you at all. They're all sort of focused around the entrance to this hut. You've sort of moved around to the side and are now taking shelter behind the back. While you're doing that, we will jump back inside with the rest of the party. I think we left off last session just after Lockie had discussed with Mira about the motivations for why she was traveling, what she was aiming to achieve. And we left off after that explosion of magical energy. So, my question is, what are the four of you doing?
I believe Mira's taken. I guess she's still standing. She's still standing at the top. So kind of, yeah,
Yeah, I'm just
waiting.
looking at the amulet.
I guess I'm still looking at my feet. I suppose.
I think
What are you doing your feet?
Well, we were bowing.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
that's
sorry, yeah, we
right.
did in last
I
session.
just looked at my feet. I
The
don't-
lizard folk began bowing, and so that's right. Yeah, the lizard folk inside began bowing. That's what started the chain reaction outside. So yeah, and the other, I think all of you guys bowed to her as well, which I found quite funny. Yeah, cool.
I wasn't bowing from what I remember. I remember one of the other
Yeah.
lizard folk being like, "What are you doing? Like, bow, get down." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mira also, at this point, now that she's kind of out of that magical stupor and fascination with the gem, she'll look at you all and go, "What are you doing? There's no reason, just stand. What are you doing?" Guys?
Good.
Guys? Good tap
I-
Lockie on the head.
Oh, hello. You're not going to blind us again, are you?
Blind you? No.
Well, that was quite an arcane explosion you did.
Ah. Sorry, everyone.
As
She'll just smile really toothily, just...
I sort of, I whisper sort of, "I think you're meant to make a speech. Something. I think."
I'll turn to the elder, the seer.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
she's
yeah.
the seer. Yeah.
The old
And just-
blind lizard folk.
Yeah. What is
Yeah, so-
she kind of looking like?
Yeah, I'll describe her again so that people can remember, because I think we didn't touch on too much detail with her. So yeah, very, very grey, faded scales, completely sightless white eyes. And yeah, dressed in, like, compared to most of the others here who are wearing very clearly tanned hide clothes and armor, she is dressed in actual cloth material that looks old and faded, but seems to have been repaired, possibly by magic, repeatedly and repeatedly again. So it looks like maybe some old ceremonial robes. Probably at this point, having spent a bit of time looking at her, you now can see these robes were not meant to be worn by a lizard folk. They were meant to be worn by someone a lot taller. It looks like they've been adopted by the lizard folk for this purpose. And yeah, she, as you sort of turn down and look at her, she sort of, again, stands back up again and looks at you and goes,
You are destined to destroy our enemy, the Yuan-Ti. It is what you are here for. You have finally come. What took you so long, my dear?
I guess that I was just waiting for our paths to collide. You know, destiny.
You are here now.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for this gift. I hope that I can use it the way that you intended to. Although I do not know much about the Yuan-Ti.
They are our enemy. Ancient enemy.
What did they do originally?
They
We know what
killed,
they're doing now. They are aligned, as we told you, with our enemy. But
they killed, they hurt. They have worked for such a long time to disrupt, to cause destruction. They came from the Golden City deep within the heart of the jungle. Legends say they were once like you.
points towards Lyra. Because you're the only human looking one at the moment. So yeah, she points towards you.
As in, they could turn into animals or human?
Oh, they appeared as humans, as fleshy toned pink skins.
But that changed? Was there a particular event that led to it?
The cataclysm that shook the world. Legends say it created them. Some dark force corrupted these people.
She just falls
Well-
silent. Says nothing else.
well, I think that our aims are congruent. I admit that I had thought that originally they might be our allies, but it sounds like the enemy of my enemy is still my enemy. So I think if it's okay, I would like to withdraw and discuss with my companions what our next steps will be. And also,
Of course.
if there is among you a guide, I think that I'll look at the others. I think that would be quite useful.
Of course. I
I mean,
will.
we tried to make our way before, but we nearly got eaten by a plant.
Yes.
Ah, yes, the carnivora. They are very dangerous. Why would you walk on their paths?
That's a very good question.
We
We
are.
didn't know at the time.
Yes.
We know now.
Yes.
Yes, normally
Min-
one does not get a second chance to learn from an encounter with a carnivora.
Well, we are all made to take on more than plants.
Actually, I'm just going to retcon. I'm going to call them Carniflora because that's a much better name and it's fucking hilarious.
The carniflora,
Nice.
yes.
You're gonna take 1 big 4 psychic damage.
You're welcome for the puns, everybody. Yeah, as she sort of stands up and gestures, the rest of the lizard folk begin moving out. Are you actually going to take 4 psychic damage for that?
Yeah, I've made a tally. My own.
Oh, Jesus. How are you not dead? I make puns every single session. Terrible puns. Oh my god. Might need to revise this. Or do it. No. Yeah, the older lizard folk woman, this seer, begins gesturing to the other lizard folk and leads them out of the hut, leaving you alone. Yervith, from outside, you see this older, very grey, aged lizard folk sort of walk out, hobbling on her stick as the rest of them sort of come. And she begins speaking in Draconic to them. Do you speak Draconic?
Do indeed.
Hey, fantastic. You're playing Tyranny of Dragons. If you don't speak Draconic, what are you doing?
I know, right?
We discussed this last session. I was like, no, it's convenient everyone speaks Draconic, isn't it? But then, I mean, I'm guilty of the same thing. Like, the only time in my life I've been a player, I spoke Abyssal and Infernal because we were going to Avernus, so...
But
I can't
we have
judge.
one of our friends has decided to not even speak Common, or Abyssal, or Infernal in a Descent to Avernus. It's been very interesting.
So
Okay.
I'm running a Descent into Avernus campaign. They're in Avernus, and one of the players lost his character the session before and decided to play a grung. For those of you who don't know what a grung is a small frog-like creature that has to be immersed in water for an hour each day, or they take 1 point of exhaustion. In Avernus, top layer
how
of
does
the
that
9
work?
hells. Yeah.
From the microwave.
Is that Andrew?
It is Andrew.
Yeah,
Does
you
he
fix
just
it.
have to carry like a bucket of water?
He
with
has
him
a
wherever he
backpack.
goes?
He has a waxed backpack and 10 water skins. And every single short rest, he has to take all this
Wow.
shit out of the backpack, tip the water skins in, and sit in it. Hey,
That's
I didn't
brilliant.
put this restriction on him. He did this to himself. This has nothing to do with me. I'm a good DM.
It's true. It's true.
But also now every player in my campaigns has to play a grung whenever there's any like fire elemental stuff involved because it's too funny. Yeah, so in that case you hear in Draconic all of these lizard folk begin talking. She sort of says,
Shh, they need time. Take to the borders, protect our land, and I shall require a scout. Who amongst you would volunteer?
she almost doesn't finish the word volunteer. So many hands shoot up. Arms raised high, just waving in the air, moving about, making these strange hissing, clicking noises. She sort of looks around again. She should not be able to see. Her eyes are completely white, but she does seem to be able to make out some kind of detail. She points at one of the younger looking lizard folk, another azure-skinned lizard folk, but this one very light pale azure with sort of flecks of green across the scales.
Seth, you shall be the one. Come, I will introduce you when they are ready.
And he steps forward. The rest of the lizard folks sort of, like arms up, head bowed, looking a bit disappointed. And she begins sort of like waving them off, and they move back and start taking up positions away from the hut, so you are undiscovered for the moment as they move aside. Back inside the hut, you guys are now alone.
Well, took a... And Mira just kind of holds up the amulet again and just trails off, just looking at it.
Well, you didn't burn up on the spot, so that's good news.
What?
I didn't know if that was going to happen. It was just a possibility. Can I just have a quick, and I'll just like thumb her eyelid back and just be like, is anything wrong? Is she bleeding or eye falling out or anything like that?
are you looking at the Erzat's eye, the replaced eye, or her actual eye?
Both eyes.
Okay. The Erzat's eye, where before I think you had it so that it was a red eye, no, it was the silver eye because you lost your silver eye because it was the red. Oh, was it? No, it was red eye because the silver side got burnt.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a red eye.
Ruby, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It was a ruby. The gem has changed color. It is now a swirling mass of white and red, constantly moving in a small spiral towards the center.
Oh wow, that's
her other eye hasn't changed, except that you do notice that the silver eye now has flecks of red in the pupil.
Is it okay?
Can I make an Arcana check to see if this is anything? Okay.
So you could do Arcana or Medicine, depending on what you want to learn. So I'll describe some physiological stuff if it's medicine, and Arcana if it's magical in nature. And luckily, I'm an optometrist, so if you're going to ask physiological questions about the eye, I've got some good news.
I would love to, but
we're doing D&D tonight. 26 for Arcana. Lockie. Yeah. People's eyes can change color for a couple of different reasons. You know that wild magic sorcerers occasionally, if they fuck up and lose control of their magic, they can change aspects of their physical appearance. You know, there's spells that can change aspects of physical appearance. Jin the way he changes his appearance and modifies his body is semi-magical in nature. It's not just a physiological change. There is some magical change that's going on there as well. So that sort of magic isn't super high level. I mean, even alter form or alter self it's not that high a spell. You'd be aware of spells like that. This is something deeper. This isn't just a changing of appearance. This is reflecting some very, very powerful magic that has formed. You know that there are certain magical artifacts that when people attune to them or sort of provide them with energy, they can have effects on the person who binds them. You've probably heard of belts of giant strength that change your physical appearance to make you more like a giant. There's probably a famous case you'd remember a few years back where a halfling couldn't get citizenship status because he put on a belt of frost giant strength and was now designated as a human, and his clan wouldn't take him back in because he passed the height requirement. And that was how that whole campaign for equal heights began in Oxenfurt. 1d4 psychic damage. Yeah, so I'm going to see if I can kill Claire in a single episode just on puns. You've set me a challenge, Claire. Yeah, no. So you would know of magical items that can change people's appearance. This seems to be something along those lines. The attunement, whatever she did to this amulet, because it didn't respond until she did something. You notice there was something she did, some focus that she had with it, or some there was some change that came across. Because the first time she touched it, nothing happened. It was only after a few minutes when she focused on it that explosion of magic happened. Yeah, you suspect something similar here. It's a result of the bond that she has created with this item.
See. Looks like you had some transchromatic bleeding there, my dear.
Ah.
It's very complicated to explain, but basically your magic is... Something has changed with it. You've bonded with that item you have, and... This is very interesting. I didn't realize my Ersatz eye would react this way, but it brings up some interesting ideas for... I'll get to that later.
Actually,
but
Lockie, yeah. One more thing. When you create the Erzat's eye, that's one of your Artificer infusions, isn't it?
Yeah.
You no longer feel the connection to the Erzat's eye. Whatever has happened has broken it. You have your Artificer infusion is now free once more.
Wait.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
You've completely assumed the artifact itself. It's not reliant on my concentration anymore. It's now part of your physiology.
Ah.
That's fascinating.
Beg your pardon.
So, it's beautiful. I don't know what I don't know what they are.
Hang on. Lockie and Mira, not Claire and Michael.
I don't know. It's all swirly. It's swirly inside.
Ah, I can't see him. Ah, that's...
No, wait. Just give me a moment, and I'll find a rag of something and just like
Oh yeah, just polish your armor. Yeah, I love it.
Polishing my armor.
Just, yeah.
There, could
Yeah.
you could just.
So just like look at it.
Yeah, it's this swirling mass of energy in the center of this this crystal at Sat's eye, and your other eye. The silver now has flecks of red in the pupil in the iris. Be weird if you had flecks of red in your pupil.
With no people, that would be not great. That would be.
Yeah.
Anyway, not working. Not working. Owen, not working. She'll just be looking at it from different angles. Well, I think that this was supposed to happen. I think we're on the right track. But the question is now, which is the next step?
Well,
Yes, we can-
should I say it again?
I was just gonna say, I guess we're just gonna go kill some snakes. I mean,
Well,
where there are snakes, there's probably Varram.
That's the curious thing. I thought that one of these snake people was stabbed by Varram, but
That's what you remember. That was the main event of Borski Bridge. Was this group came off the boat. One of them started talking. This sort of strange figure in a cloak started talking to this group, and the leader, this dwarf, just stabbed him in the face. Stabbed him in the gut first. As they bent over, stabbed him in the face and left their corpse bleeding on the side of the road.
that's why I thought we could potentially align with the ONT, but I'm beginning to suspect that that's not a good move politically, considering what just happened.
Yes, it seems our new friends and compatriots out there are very eager for us to hunt them down.
Well, I did have this thought. Potentially, Varram is after their city, if that's where they come from. A golden city filled with treasure. That sounds like a bit of a hoard to me.
Yes.
Yervith, could I get you to roll me a quick perception check while you're there as well? I just want to see how much of this you're hearing.
Yeah, sure.
As
You are in position.
Mira says that, though, I will quickly say,
All of it. 21. Yeah.
it does make sense that he's trying to find the Temple of Golds. He fell out of favor with the cult, it seems, and lost his mask. So he might be trying to get that favor back.
That's right. Buy his way back in.
That-
makes sense.
That makes sense, Jin. That's...
So, well, we're at a crossroads here then. Do we continue trying to follow the path of these 1T to help our friends out here, or do we try and hunt down the cultists? Because, I mean, I feel like we're probably on the clock here, right?
Well, potentially they'll be at the same place.
Maybe.
Maggie's lore speaking, we'd probably end up running into them at sooner or later. I mean, we're not exactly being quiet through this jungle. I know, if we get the drop of them rather than they get the drop on us.
If only we were more stealthy. If only we had someone who was...
Someone familiar with the terrain.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Someone who doesn't step onto Carniflora.
Yeah.
Yervith, you hear the whole conversation. You hear everything they're saying, perched as you are underneath the window at the back of the hut.
This is definitely Yervith is very interested. He's sort of like, feel like I might be able to align my objectives with this party's objectives.
I mean, one of the things that stands out to you is this group are talking like they're going to be in and out. Like the conversation they're having doesn't seem like they're lost in this jungle. It seems like they've got a clear path in, and that they're just assuming they're going to be able to get out no problem. So that already to you is like, okay. The other thing that stands out is they've mentioned Golden City a couple of times now. That to you definitely triggers some responses of an emotional nature.
Yeah, I got some flashbacks. I kind of shake my head and I'm like, how can they think it's so easy at all?
But we'll jump to Yervith. You can hear this conversation going on inside the hut. The talk about this Varram, you've got no idea who that is. It's completely new information to you. They don't seem to be allies of the UNT, which is already a bit of a tick in Yervith's mind, I imagine. The other thing that they've said that probably stands out to you that we haven't mentioned already, I think probably would be the conversation about that, because you guys have mentioned that you're from a guild at this point. I'm pretty sure I had someone say about a guild, which would trigger your memory, Yervith. You know that there are adventuring guilds that are based in Oxenfurt. The Adventurers League is a group of guilds, minor guilds and major guilds that operate out. If these are associated with an adventuring guild, then they are trustworthy. They're likely from your hometown, or from Palin itself, the capital of Oshia. So these people already I definitely heard you guys mention guilds. So then that probably to you is like, okay, I know who these people are. These are adventurers.
Cool. Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I would be fairly familiar with guilds being growing up in Oxenfurt.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. They probably would have been like a childhood dream to one day be part of an adventuring guild, but then your path took a different turn and you ended up with the historical and expeditionary society. Who would have? I mean, you probably would have had a member or two from adventuring guilds with you on this expedition. There might have been one or two. Maybe not this one. Probably your previous one, which was a slightly more dangerous. Which was presented as being slightly more dangerous than this one. There might have been a couple of members of various guilds with you at that point who just were there.
Ran with them in the past, you would have on different things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's say the group that you've had exposure to would have been the Oaken Heart. They're a pretty expeditionary style guild. They mainly focus on scouting missions, so that makes sense that you might have had exposure to them before.
Perfect. Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. So Yervith, I guess, would he realizes he's in a kind of a precarious position. Doesn't want to make his reveal too dramatic. Not having formally, in the circumstances, But he's sort of.
You don't want to whack-a-mole pop up from under the windowsill.
Yeah. Hello. You a scout? Hello. No.
Knock knock. This is the plot talking. Deus Ex Yervith.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still. I know that the group obviously seemed very trustworthy, but I'm slightly reserved still. I don't want to make my my first introductions with them too dramatic. I probably slink around. I probably keep listening into the village, to the conversation, just sort of keeping an eye out for the lizard people, because I kind of don't want to get caught by the lizard people.
Yes.
Sneaking around.
Yeah.
So I probably at this stage I'd want to maybe be looking to if the party seem like they're about to move on. Because what time is it? Is it night or?
No, it's you guys left sort of mid-morning. You flew over the jungle for a couple of hours, so it's sort of early afternoon, sort of around 2-3 o'clock.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I would probably be looking to move out of the village, having heard what I need to hear, and I would probably avoid trying to get captured by the lizardmen.
Yeah,
I might actually kind of sneak out, and then if I decide maybe in a couple of hours, I might walk in.
Yeah,
maybe, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
As you leave here, Lockie say, "Don't be silly. Do you know how unlikely it would be to run into someone that would actually need at the time that you need them?"
Nice.
The world is gigantic. It's vanishingly small.
The odds are astronomical. I've calculated them here.
Yeah, look, I can write them down for you.
Yervith, you sort of slink towards the nearest patch of foliage, moving between your cloak, taking on the appearance of the foliage for you. And you stick towards the outskirts of the village, keeping a close eye to see when this group leave and where they go. Back over to the group in that case. So, you're inside this hut by yourselves. You can hear the sound of the seer lizard folk talking to, because they're still speaking Draconic, so you can understand them clearly, talking to this young scout called Seth, giving him clear instructions to guide you to something she's calling the Tomb of Digerus. Being very clear to take you guys there, but to go no deeper himself. He is not to enter under any circumstances.
Okay. Yes, so should we continue on this strange path? I feel like you're right, Lockie, though I disagree. It seems like that will be provided with some sign.
Yeah.
I have one question. Lockie,
Yes.
you seem to be very informative. Something happened before the coronation, to say. What did you see? What did you look at in the past or future? Because you came in with knowledge none of us possess. What happened there?
He unlocked the Q code.
Yes. That is a great QR code. No.
No, do you know what though? That was the inspiration for those wall paintings, and the Lockie's reaction to it was like QR code.
Oh mate, too many QR codes.
Sorry to let everyone behind the screen. It does kind of spoil the magic a bit, but yeah, that was it's like D&D QR codes. Sorry.
It's hard to explain, but
I checked into something.
I checked into something. I didn't have any dependents, but so it was just me. No. Sorry, but I don't know how to explain it, but I guess I've had some memories of things locked away for. I think I'm older than I realized I was, and with that unlocking came a bit of extra information. It seems we have in our midst, perhaps. I don't know much about gods or anything, but perhaps there's some machinations here behind the scenes, or some predestiny. I don't know how to explain it, Mira. I'm sorry. I wish I could. But for this moment in time, for this while, it seems that a lot revolves around the choices you make, which is why I was very adamant about trying to figure out your motivations.
I don't understand.
I'm trying to as well. But I fear that perhaps the actions that we take may stop this coming calamity, or perhaps hasten it.
So, we should check out this temple that they were talking about. There might be some answers there that we can find.
I think that's a very good thought, Jen.
As I'm like a big lizard man still,
Oh,
with
yeah.
a sort of weird outdoorsy outfit.
And Lyra, can I ask a favor of you for a moment?
Certainly. What?
You have the magical ability to manipulate and sense things like and foliage and such like that.
Yeah, I can. I think so.
I mean, I've seen you use it countless times. Could you possibly direct that energy in my direction? I have an experiment I want to undertake.
Okay.
Just hit me with a little druid craft. I'm curious to see what happens.
Yes. One problem. I do not have druid craft.
Oh, I did, my dear. I didn't realize you've forgotten it. That's fine. This happens from time to time.
It might have something to do with being stuck for a while, but yeah, it's really embarrassing. But I just find myself, I can't do it anymore.
Oh no! Is it a block? Are you feeling uneasy or a little down on yourself? Because I've heard that sometimes things like that can happen. If you're not in a good mental space, then things that you know.
Yeah, well, all I can think of is being disconnected from nature for, God knows how many years in that damn jam. I think it's just cut me off. Like, hopefully being back in this forest, maybe it might wake something up.
Hey, you never know.
Might get lucky.
Okay, well, we'll have to see later, but I feel like my mechanics are not all that I thought they were, so we'll bend that for now.
I mean, I have other spells. I mean, I can fix things. And I can change the shape of water.
Very good. Both of those are very, very important, but I don't feel broken
Very helpful.
right now.
Are you a plant?
I don't think I'm a...
Are you mineral or
if I was a
plant?
plant, would I know it? That's the question.
Very, very hard question to answer. If you were plant, would you know it? I don't know what to say to that.
Philosophical.
Yeah.
Are you
I've
a
got
plant?
no response. Sorry, guys.
I mean, you're made of metal, and
I assumed as much. I mean, that's mostly what I can see, but I just...
I mean, I can heat metal. I can try and heat up.
Oh, don't,
metal.
please don't do that. That would be highly uncomfortable.
Yeah, I even think it would be a good thing, but then you'd find out if you were made of wood or not. Based on...
Combust? Somebody set you on fire?
Please, no.
Okay.
Dear Lord.
Oh my.
I'm just having flashes of Olaf from Frozen. Anyway.
Oh God. All right. So my question is,
Sorry,
what are you
just-
guys doing? Oh yeah, sorry, go.
Before we move on, this condition afflicting Lockie, would it be something that could be maybe affected by, say, a lesser restoration or something? Like, is it like an actual thing that's happened to him, or is he just unsure?
No, I don't feel unwell. I have a new awareness of myself. Like I said, I think I'm older than I realized.
Can I make a nature check or something?
You can make a nature check on Lockie, yeah. I'd say probably if you're looking to try and figure out how old he is, maybe investigation would make more sense. But you can make a nature check.
Equally bad.
Try and
Perfect.
help her.
You can help her, yes, you said it before she rolled, so you can help her, absolutely.
Advantage?
Yes, with advantage, because of the help action. 19 is a good roll. 8's not a good roll, so we'll take the 19. Yeah, as you have a bit of a look at Lockie, it is a bit hard to determine how old he is. Firstly, because he's made of mostly metal, wood, and other materials as well. And he is a magical construct in nature. There is magic that powers him. Despite all the clockwork and all the gears, there is some intense magic powering Lockie. The way that his form can just come apart and reassemble itself to move position when he does the Boots of the Winding Path, that's how he does his Boots of the Winding Path, is very strange. Like, there is some central magic. So for Matt's benefits, Lockie took Boots of the Winding Path with one of his infusions, and we decided to do it like Iron Giant style, so he splits apart and then reassembles himself in the position he wants to go to. It's really cool.
That's cool.
Just some fun
cool.
flavor. Some
Nice.
delicious fun flavor. So yeah, there's definitely something strange about Lockie. With your investigation, this is the first time you've actually genuinely stopped and tried to have a look at what powers Lockie. The first thing you notice is that there are a number of runes in Giant inscribed inside his armor, on various points inside his armor. Most of the integral components that make up the neck, a number inside the central chest, you sort of have a bit of a look and start looking over him and examining him in detail. Yeah, there's a number of giant runes inscribed upon him, which is initially and immediately interesting because from your understanding, the giants disappeared long before any of this stuff has started to go down, long before the ruin, long before all of the stuff. Like one of the central key moments of Nostea was all the other races arriving and the giants disappearing, leaving it behind. Which is interesting because the giant language is not spoken by any group anymore. Even the hill giants, who are themselves giants, don't read or write. They can only speak giant. This is clearly giant runes, the same ones you saw on the airship. Lockie is probably a lot older than you thought. A lot older.
Wow.
I relay that to the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
Just a lot of birthdays.
Didn't get any presents.
Let's catch up on that when we get back to the city.
One
Uh,
of
Oh,
those,
sure.
I think that's my background to my idea.
one of those presents might be not dying.
True.
I'll take it. That
sounds
works.
like pleading to the DM never works.
Well, okay, that's interesting information. Thank you for checking that out. I feel like perhaps we should get a wriggle on, but yes,
Mysteries will persist.
mysteries will mystery.
Do you try and look at any of these runes on your body, Lockie?
Well, like I can't really see them, but I think if I open up, yeah. No,
The
I'll
only
see if I-
ones, yeah, the only ones you'd be able to see really easily without too much effort are the ones underneath the arm. What are they called? The pauldrons? Pauldrons on the arm? What am I thinking of?
Yeah.
Pauldrons on your shoulder. Yeah, greaves. No, greaves around your legs.
No.
Braces.
Yeah,
Braces.
braces. Sure, braces are the ones underneath your braces. Yeah, I mean, you've seen these markings on your body before. Unfortunately, every time you look at them, nothing ever really occurred to you. There was no sort of recognition of what they were. You thought they could have been maybe scratches or some sort of like marking or artistic thing. You can read what this marking says now. You understand what this says. You may add Giant as one of your languages. You have unlocked Giant as you unlocked these series of memories. The arm, the one on your arm that has the gauntlet says power. The one on the other arm says balance.
Whoa,
That's cool. That's cool.
that's cool.
Owen's been having some fun. Changing character details without your knowledge. Oh, dearie me.
Okay. Well, I see.
So you now speak
well,
Giant. I can add that to your character sheet if you run into any trouble.
No, I got it. It's over there. All good.
Beautiful.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well. Okay.
I think we should move on from this self-revelation. It's a bit much to me.
Yes, I need you to process this for a while.
Yes.
I guess let's do some exploring.
Yeah.
I think we're on the right path. We just need someone to show us the actual path.
That would be nice.
Particularly
Yeah.
ones that aren't carnivore paths.
I think we ever heard them talking to someone called Seth.
Mm.
Let's see if we can go talk to Seth. Nope, he's not too green.
Ha 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 ha. As you guys step out of this wooden longhouse, you see the seer is standing there with a pale azure lizard folk, quite young looking. His armor and clothes are again this tanned hide, but he actually has a belt made of what looks to be snakeskin. Although now, given the context of the situation, this belt and this buckler probably is Yuan T skin. And as you step out, he bows very deeply and goes,
It is an honor to serve. This one is called Seth.
It's lovely to meet you, Seth. I'm Mira. I feel like I didn't actually. And these are my companions. Thank you for showing us the way.
Are you prepared? Have you provisions for the journey? Or will we hunt along the way?
Oh, sounds fun. I'm pretty sure I'm prepared though, and Mira will just like look at her list again, and it kind of falls on the ground. But
pulls out a scroll that just drops onto the ground. This whole long list of items that Mira's keeping track of as the administrator of the group.
yes, I think it should be everything should be here. But I suppose that, if we need to be flexible, if the opportunity arises for hunting, then I'll just make a couple of adjustments to my flat packing. But that should be fine. Yes.
You bring tinder.
He points at your long roll of paper.
This is good. Fire can be hard to maintain in the jungle.
Oh, well, if it came to it, just a little tear.
Seth turns and begins walking off towards the jungle, not saying anything else.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I'll follow. Yes. Yes.
You follow.
Yervith, you see this slightly paler azure younger lizardfolk man leading the party almost directly towards where you're hiding. And then at the last minute, they sort of make a little turn and start taking a slightly more walked track, heading towards the north.
Yeah, I guess I kind of like stay within the foliage, sort of not making myself known, but sort of like maybe like running like parallel with the group as they're leaving the village.
Yeah.
I want to try and like get a little bit ahead, just so I can, keep an eye on them from a distance, but not too far of a distance. Maybe like 10-20 meters within eyesight.
Awesome. I'll get you to roll me another stealth check, just because it is different to be hiding in a village versus like trying to keep up and move swiftly through the jungle to stay ahead. So yeah, I'll grab another stealth check just to see how effective you are at this. I've got a feeling you're going to be 28, so pretty average roll there. You are very, very stealthy moving through the jungle. After about 30-40 minutes of walking, the village is now far behind. Seth pauses very often and very frequently and makes sort of he does behaviors that are very strange to you. He might bend and start looking underneath leaves and then mutter under his breath and turn 180 degrees, walk back a little bit, and then turn towards like the right and go around this patch of foliage that looks identical to your eyes as to any other patch of foliage. Occasionally he'll stop, press his ear towards the ground and listen, and then stand up and immediately begin walking in a different direction. Like, he seems to be very attuned to the dangers of the forest. Yervith, you would know that he is avoiding things like blood moss, avoiding carniflora, avoiding all sorts of dangers of the forest. And a number of the plants and insects here are incredibly dangerous. The blood moss, for example, if you touch it, causes intense pain and it's highly toxic, and it sits underneath the leaves itself, tries to capture prey that move past. Only Matt knows this, though. So yeah, the rest of you, you're sticking to the lower canopy, staying up off the ground, which is generally quite unsafe, and keeping close to the party. The group continue for another 30 minutes. It's been an hour or so since you left the village, and Seth isn't much of a conversationalist. There is at one point where a giant snake, this serpent, sort of comes down from the trees as you guys are walking. He spins this bow off his shoulder and just shoots an arrow into the center of the snake's head, killing it a single shot, pinning it to the tree behind. He then turns and continues walking without making a sound.
That was a good shot.
Give a little smirk, like,
yeah,
not bad.
Yeah, you look at that and you're like, it was an okay shot, but I mean, such wasted effort. He could have easily just done like right there, and it would have been way more efficient, and he would have taken out the snake without any flourishes. He's an adequate bowman by your standards. As you continue on, Seth immediately, so as we sort of hit the hour point, having walked without Seth talking much, Seth reaches the edge of this little clearing and pauses, stopping dead in his tracks. He then starts sniffing at it.
Stay. I must go alone for this.
And he ducks down and begins crouching and moving through the jungle, off towards the side of the clearing, leaving you guys standing at the edge of this clearing that just looks to be full of this crystal clear water. You can see that some of the tree roots, mangrove style, are growing into the water and then coming back up again, making these little like tubercles. See a few small fish minnows darting through the water. It's beautiful. It's calm. It's peaceful. It seems quite nice. Yervith, you see the party are now by themselves, standing very close to a blue hole, one of the dangers that you've encountered in the jungle. These deep pools that drop almost down towards the underbelly of the island, and lead to the Underdark. They just drop.
Okay.
And there are dark things in the pools, creatures from the deep, that usually only come out at night. During daytime, these places can be fairly safe.
Does he want a drink?
I don't know.
Remember stage whispers. Stage whispers.
We don't have to risk, standing water. I literally have an supply right here. We don't need to go near there.
Yeah.
I guess she just passes
Yervith,
around her jug for anyone that wants a drink.
Lockie will take it, just be confused for a second.
Oh,
Doesn't
great.
want
Sorry.
Very nice. Yeah, the party are by themselves now. The lizard folk guide has moved off and is disappearing over towards the the northeastern passage. He sort of seems to be moving through the undergrowth. You're not sure what it is he's stalking either. He does seem to have disappeared off into the undergrowth. You haven't seen any signs of danger.
No. I'm sort of like watching quite intently at this blue hole, knowing the inherent danger of lingering somewhere like this, and sort of thinking to myself, should I make myself known? Yes, I believe maybe now would be a good time. I sort of like creep a little closer, while still staying hidden.
Yep.
And just waiting to see, keeping my eye on the blue hole. And I sort of just say, and I haven't spoken out loud.
Yeah.
For like
Months. Yeah.
So I try my best to I'm like, I wouldn't linger here too long, friends.
From literally the Jesus. From the mid sort of the lower canopy, a voice speaks to you from the trees above. This sort of very sort of I'd say quite hoarse voice at this point. As you said, you haven't spoken for quite a while. A little bit awkward, a little bit unpracticed. And as you turn and spin, you cannot see where this voice is coming from. It just seems to have come from the trees themselves.
Okay, so
they're going to kill us.
wait, so Matt's character hasn't shown himself.
Oh, yeah.
You said you were staying hidden, so yeah, he has not shown himself yet.
Yeah,
With his stealth of 28, you're
don't
welcome
think
to roll
my
perception
perception-
checks, but
Look,
I don't think you're gonna be able to see.
I have I'm +6, so I couldn't even get to that 28. I would sort of say, who speaks of friends, yet hides in the shadows?
Oh, nice. Fucking hell.
As I've sort of drawn my sword, and I have my hand cocked, and you see this green sort of ethereal sort of energy sort of starts sort of swirling and spinning in my hand.
I must apologize for the shaky introductions. It's been a while since I've encountered adventurers in the jungle. I mean you no harm, but it's just been a long time.
Do you reveal yourself?
And at that moment, I kind of come out of the clearing, and I just sort of drop the hood, and I have my hands up completely, like as friendly as I can,
yeah.
Not holding the bow, not holding my short swords, just hands in the air, and sort of stepping out of the foliage.
I think you should.
into the clearing.
I think you should describe what Yervith looks like. So if people are to see
Yeah.
Yervith for the first time, what does Yervith look like?
Yervith has this, as Owen has described, this beautiful cloak, which sort of shimmers and changes color with the surrounding terrain. So when he's in the forest, in the jungle, it sort of takes on the appearance of the terrain that he's in, giving him this sort of ever-changing sort of camouflage, if you will, of his surroundings, which is perfect for him and his profession. But below that is his various leather straps, bands, his leather armor, all tightly connected, weaved. He travels quite light, doesn't wear a big backpack or anything. He's basically optimized for sort of tracking and going through the forest, and sort of looks after himself, and travels very light. But identifiably, he's about 6 foot. He has this very ashen gray hair, slicked back, and kind of for a wood elf, he's still got those coppery tones to his skin, but it's a little bit paler perhaps than what you'd be familiar with. Lots of scars, so he's definitely been roughed up. One noticeably newer than the others. And he has these really intense jade green eyes that look quite wild, I suppose. Maybe, almost like, he's got that 1,000-yard stare. Perhaps he's been out in the jungle a long time by himself, surviving. And he has 2 short swords by his side that are a little bit different to a regular short sword. They're quite, they're probably designed to suit a jungle environment or a forest environment. Without knowing, because they're in their scabbards, but they're shaped like a machete, except maybe a bit more elvish in their design. So rather than the classic sort of short sword, they're curved and mated at the top and sort of tapering down into the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much what you see.
These elves in the jungle, they've got swords, curved swords. That's it.
Should we do like a really brief like?
Oh, hang on, Jared. I've got you echoed. Give me a second. I just need to. You're good?
I know what it is.
It's all right. Yeah, it's all right. I got you fixed. All good. Sorry. Carry on.
My bad.
I'm not even going to edit that out.
Just...
It's too much effort.
It's all good. Should we do a brief, just really brief like description of our characters for Matt?
Exactly what I was about to say. Just a quick. So, Yervith, as you look over the party, what we'll do is we'll get you to do it in the order that you introduce yourself. So, Yervith, this is what you see in the order as the characters introduce themselves. So, starting with Claire.
So you see a very tall Dragonborn, and yeah, I think you've heard about her eye.
Yeah.
It's also a recent acquisition. But the most distinctive thing about Mira is that she's wearing kind of mage robes. She carries a staff, which is blackened and smouldering on one end. And she has, her left side of her face is all silver, and the rest of her body is silver, but her right arm and right side of her face, perfectly cut down the middle, is red scale.
Wow.
So she has,
Cool.
yeah, she looks like one of those cats who have, tabby cats that have been cut in half.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is that unusual? Like the coloring of the Dragonborn like that?
Yes. Yeah. You've never seen anything like it before. It's unique.
And she's got two horns coming out of her head, and very large innocent eyes, except one of them is a mechanical one now.
Yeah. Very cool. Nice.
Lockie.
So you see a tall who, from his feet to his trunk, is quite skinny and a bit spindly. He is completely made of what seems to be clockwork, so it's interjoined cogs and things that shift and move together. From his waist to his neck, he looks a lot bulkier, but you kind of get the idea that even though it's all clockwork and cogged and interconnected as well, it's something that he could move off. It looks a bit more like armor than his actual body. He's holding a mace, which is two interlocked gears, like that,
Wow.
at the top with the cogs around the outside. And his shield has sort of similar, like, interconnected cogs and things on the front of it as well. And he's, at the moment, staring at you. He's put himself in between his friends and where you are. And he's sort of interposed. I'm just waiting to see what his more personable, knowledgeable friends do.
And Jin, who's currently not Jin.
No, so a very easy way to describe Jin at the moment is I'm just a really big lizard folk, look very similar to all the other ones you've seen, quite classic, just green scales, and I'm wearing sort of like this weird sort of outdoorsy sort of jungle attire at the moment. Because I was another form that was wearing that, then went into a lizard folk form. So that's all I'll tell you for now until you see my later forms another time. But for now, I am just a lizard folk.
If you've seen the character art for Jin, then that kind of is a big hint, because I have recently updated Jin's character art to reveal his true form. And
Well, it just makes
Lyra.
sense.
Yeah.
So if you look over at Lyra, you see a seemingly human woman with one blue, one green eye, and she's carrying a staff that is literally just a straight up stick. There are like leaves growing out of the thing, like in what universe is this a staff? But hey, she seems to be carrying it around.
It looks to be still alive too. The leaves are green and it looks to be still
growing.
alive.
It's straight up growing.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's sort of not a lot with Lyra on the outside.
Okay.
Probably, I think the other thing as well, like very slightly pointed ears. So definitely not like if you are sort of attuned to that sort of thing. If you are looking for human versus elf, very slight point to the ears. Yeah. Apart from that, very human looking, but very very slight point to the ears, which
Probably not as pointy as mine.
no, definitely not full elven, but it suggests some sort of elven blood, potentially some sort of elven blood.
Interesting.
It's,
Okay.
yeah, potentially.
I guess the other thing I forgot to mention is I have a very well-crafted longbow behind me
Yes.
as well, and a
Yeah.
quiver of arrows. So
I forgot to mention that Mira's wearing a pith helmet.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mira is wearing
Oh,
a pith
yes.
helmet. Yeah. I was going to bring
From
that
my
up at the end. I was
collection.
going to quickly add in some extra details. So the fact that Lockie
very
currently
appropriate.
has a little bit of moss growing on his shoulder from like walking in the canopy, a little bit of rust. No, no rust.
very cool.
But yeah, the longbow Yervith is wielding as a sort of a darker wood, a darker red stained wood with these beautiful, intricate metalwork designs on it. It's a work of art. It is beautiful. It looks very well cared for, incredibly well cared for.
Indeed.
Cool. As you sort of enter and start talking and sort of introduce yourself, well, you didn't really introduce yourself so much, but revealed yourself, I'll sort of go, who are you and what are you doing following us?
My name is Yervith. I have been in this jungle for. I sort of like kind of like stare out into space for a couple of seconds, like just trying to remember like how long it's been.
I sort of start looking in the direction you're staring at and trying to see what it is.
It must have been 2 months, at least.
What were you doing?
Well, there's no easy way to make introductions in such a inhospitable place. I've been in the jungle for quite a number of months, and I wasn't expecting to see any adventurers here, so I picked up your trail and had to make myself known eventually.
Are you
I
lost?
sort of... Oh, sorry, Claire, you go.
Oh. Are you lost? See, obviously not recognizing him. Very capable.
Am I lost? Huh. You're a funny one.
I will come
yeah.
closer and actually draw my sword. And I'll go, are you lost? Or are you part of a certain order that may be interested in our movements?
You've got no idea what he's talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
We'll do an insight check on that, hey?
So we've talked about this. If you want to roll an insight check, don't just shout insight check at me. You can ask things like, let's try and keep the illusion of. It's too late now, isn't it? It's a meme
So
now.
look,
You guys yelling insight check. Can we try and keep the illusion?
Check.
Yeah, go on. You've got
Because I've
advantage.
asked-
Clearly, Claire's helping.
Oh no, she's not.
Natural 1 for a total of 4. In that case, do we want to have it that?
I'll do
Do
an
we-
insight check too.
Yeah, go on. Do a separate one.
It's not as
11.
good.
Okay.
I asked
Mira.
the question though, so it made more sense.
So we'll do Jin first, and then we'll do Mira's natural 1. Jin. Yeah, he seems confused. He seems unsure about what you're talking about. Yeah, really a bit unsure. The body language very awkward, as if as if this person hasn't spoken to people or is unfamiliar with how to commune with people. The body language is very fidgety, constantly sort of like checking his surroundings, aware of what's going on. Like anytime one of you moves, immediately his eyes are drawn to it. He's very conscious of the body language of you guys and any sort of sudden movements or any changes in the environment. He's very attuned to it, almost a little bit on edge in a way. Mira's natural 1. So this elf who's sort of moved out of the jungle, his movements, this sort of strange fidgety movement for a moment kind of reminds you of one of the plants, one of the carniflora that you've seen. And there's almost a moment where you think like, is this just an elaborate like plant lure to bring us closer into the jungle? There's more of like, is this some like strange...
Was it all about works?
Is this some like strange awkward? And then like your sort of like your more common sensey half kicks in and is like, no, this dude just looks scared. Like he's just nervous. He just seems not really hard to read. Like he just seems a bit fidgety, but you don't know whether he's telling the truth or not. You've got no idea. He's hard to read. He blends in with the damn foliage. It's hard to even see him from where you are. Yeah.
I just kind of shift over to Lyra a bit more, and I'm like,
Stage whisper. Sorry, I couldn't hear Claire.
well, I said to Lyra, you can deal with the strange plant, man. Just
Perfect.
kind of
To answer your question, I am not lost. I am right where I need to be.
With us, do you even know who we are? My character's a bit on edge because we're on a pretty important mission. We've just had some crazy stuff happen in the village, and then this guy has just randomly appeared out of the jungle. That's it's
you
so
would see-
suspicious.
For podcast listeners, you see Yervith shake his head and like shrug and be like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah. So what did you say, Jared? What did you say, Jared?
I just basically said, do you know? Because you sort of said I'm not lost, and
Yeah,
I'm
Where I
like,
need to be.
you were. Well, then I'm like, well, do you know who we are? Like,
Literally,
I,
Yervith's like,
Yeah. No idea, friend.
so then why aren't you lost? And why are you where you need to be? And why is that right here?
Well,
As I sort of flick my tongue out, and I sort of do like a snarl.
I sort of like search for the words to say because it's been so long since I've had human interaction, and I'm like, how do I get it across? I sort of just say, you wouldn't happen to know about the Oxenfurt expedition, would you?
Ah, we actually heard of that in Borskia Bridge.
Yes, we did go through that. Yes.
So, where is? Were you part of the expedition?
I sort of like, my head kind of like tilts down a little bit, like I'm a bit like, oof, that's, and I sort of say, yes, I was.
And what happened to your friends?
Well, if you must know, it's quite the story. Perhaps we should do this away from the blue pond over there. It's making me uneasy.
You don't like water?
No, on the contrary, I have no issue with it, but there are things beneath the surface that I would rather not deal with right now.
You don't like fish?
Oh, no. Not just fish, my friend. Quite big fish, big creatures. The water there is deep. Very, very deep.
Like a toad or a lizard? And as I flick my tongue.
Among other things. Perhaps.
I'd say probably the moment that scared you away from the blue holes, Yervith, is one night, sort of quite a bit thirsty, heading down, not really knowing the dangers. As you stopped to have a drink, on the other side of the blue hole, there was a deer doing the exact same thing. Large, dark tentacles rose from the murky black water, wrapped around it, and without a sound, it was dragged below, leaving nothing but a ripple on the surface.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll when we're talking, I will I'll sort of not holster, what is it? Just sort of put my sword away, back in the
Holster's
scabbard.
fine. Holster works.
Yeah, holstered. Yeah, okay.
Sheath
and then
is
I
the
will
word you're looking
still-
for specifically, I
That's
suspect.
it. There,
That's the
perfect.
one.
I will sheath my sword, and I will sort of keep some like energy in my hand, so the ethereal green energy's still there, but I'm sort of taking a bit more of a guarded posture with this, sort of newcomer. I'm on edge a little bit because like I said, ambition's pretty important and there's a lot of things at stake, and this guy just randomly came out of the jungle, but he, after talking a little bit more, I'm not trusting him yet, but like I'm not hostile anymore. I'm a bit more guarded.
Actually, I would say that now that you've had a bit of a chance to look at him and size him up, as Yervith sort of points towards the blue pool and sort of indicates that you should step away from it, he moves the cloak he's wearing ever so slightly, and you can actually see the Oxenfurt crest of arms emblazoned on his tunic, very, very clearly.
Okay.
So probably emblazoned in silver on his left breast pocket.
Well then, I'll sort of, the ethereal green energy that was sort of swirling in my hand will sort of slowly fade as I'm still guarded, but I'm like I said, not outright hostile, as I was sort of being a bit more, sort of pressing.
Yeah.
Seeing that, I'll sort of bring my shield down and relax a little bit.
I sort of go to find like I guess like a log or a stone or something, and I sort of sit a little bit, trying to like get a little bit comfortable.
Yeah.
Where I regale them with my tale or with my story. Yeah, sort of.
A few paces away from the blue hole.
Yeah. I kind of like actively walk away from the blue hole and into the opposite side of there. Find a comfortable spot, and I just sort of like sit a little bit, and I guess there's a bit of a tale. Well, I got work with the Oxenfurt expedition, as I have done with others, and this one no different. I'd already done a couple of tracking jobs for them across the continent, and when they told me they had work here, it seemed like it was right up my wheelhouse, so to speak. I accepted the job, came with them out here, took the airship, as I'm sure you did as well, went to the village, all seemed well. The captain told me he was only supposed to be a couple of weeks worth of work. We were just mapping out the perimeter of the jungle. Maps, you see, are pretty valuable, especially in uncharted regions like this. Explorer guilds and other crew, and they fetch a pretty penny. Captain he seemed like a good fellow, Jaden. We got him along well. But he seemed intent on getting deeper and deeper into the jungle. I warned him. I told him nothing good would come from him trying to get further into the jungle. He went on. His employer told him that he needed to find the ruins. A lot of nonsense. I told him
the Temple of Gold?
Or perhaps he wasn't forthcoming with the details. He just told me we needed to go deeper. I was powerless to suggest otherwise. He was intent on reaching wherever it is he needed to go. We journeyed deeper. I warned him that the rations would not last long. The men were getting terribly ill from the climate. And then, as we delved deeper, one by one, the members of the expedition, some disappeared, some fell foul to these conditions. As soon as we started to find evidence of the ruins, I started to find bricks and man-made constructions. As soon as we were getting close, that's when the Yuan-Ti attacked. They came out of nowhere. I should have picked them up. I should have been ready. And then they just picked us apart, one by one. My friends, my men, fell as the blades of the Yuan-Ti came down upon them. I myself would have fallen ill to their savagery if it weren't for the captain. He sacrificed himself so that I could tell his story. And ever since, I've been stalking the jungle, hunting them down. It is the least I can do. And in some way, perhaps get some sort of revenge against them, what they did. That is why I'm here, and that is why I'm not lost.
Yeah, with that, as you sort of regaled the tale, so Jin, my character's name currently is Garut. He's just sort of been standing there and taking it in, and he'll sort of go, "Oh, so you met a grisly end, and no one else survived."
My knowledge.
Well,
I've been in this jungle a long time, and I have not seen any other traces of the expedition. I have been to the battle site. I have replayed it in my mind. perhaps the Yuan-Ti took some away. It was all a bit chaotic. The last thing I remember of the captain was him saying that I needed to live on, so that I could live for them.
Just quickly, really quick, Owen, we can see what you're doing on the map.
Oh, what do you mean?
Can we?
I can.
Okay.
Yeah, It
Oh.
briefly came into visual range.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Play on. Don't worry about it.
about it.
Don't worry about it. I forgot to take you guys off the layer. Don't worry about it. Just play on.
I can still see this thing.
Oh,
Okay.
for fuck's sake. All right, fine.
It's
There you
okay.
go. Better? No, that hasn't helped at all.
I made it
no.
worse.
No,
Oh
way
no!
worse. Shh. Keep playing.
It's okay. Jim can't see it.
There you go.
No idea.
There we go. Problem solved. Carry on.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Should have thought of that.
Anyway. That's a bit of a tale. So I'll sort of sit down and. So
Bard's loving it.
what do you plan on doing now?
Well, that's a good question. Suppose I, Well, I mean, it's been a long time since I've, found any other,
Civilized folk?
perhaps. Yes, yes.
I am very civilized, as you can see.
Oh, of course.
As I sort of look at me like, ah, yes, my scales glimmer and shine.
I had hoped to trek further into the jungle myself and find out at least where these 1T are coming from. And I mean, what can one man do against an army?
Have you found anything that maybe like camps of the Yuan-Ti or any of their hideouts?
I've tracked their patrols. I have my suspicions that they are based in the heart of the jungle, perhaps in the ruins, but I am not 100% certain.
Yeah, I'd say by this point you've not interacted with too many permanent camps. They've all been very temporary camps.
Yeah.
No permanent structures as far as you've seen so far.
As we're talking, I'm going to do a quick perception check as I sort of trail off from the conversation for a little bit. Take in my surroundings. I don't really notice much. It's a 9.
No, you don't notice anything at all.
I'm sort of probably more engrossed in the story currently.
Yeah, it's nothing much happening as far as you can see.
How long has it been since our friend, the lizard folk, ran off?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
that's
talking
you guys.
close
Good
to
point.
25-30 minutes. This conversation's been going on, so it's been a little bit of time.
Yeah.
He's just disappeared into the jungle. As you sort of start to think that and have a bit of a look around, even with your terrible perception, I will bring you guys across to a little map.
Ooh.
I know that meat bags like you guys need to sometimes, I don't know how to describe it. I've never experienced it myself, but maybe he's off, I don't know, trying to find some, I don't know.
So what?
I don't know, food? Or don't you have a digestive system that has to expel waste at some stage?
It is.
Maybe taking
It's
a
pretty
long...
interesting. I was watching that fellow. I don't know what he picked up. I myself did not pick up anything. So
I'm gonna bring the transition across. Let's see if this works.
Yeah.
He does live in
Yay.
the jungle, though.
perhaps he knows something I don't, but I find that unlikely.
Maybe we should just go and check if he's okay.
I mean, is it possible he's just abandoned us here?
Where are our manners, though? I am Galut. Lovely to make your acquaintance.
Oh, yes. I'm Lockie. Hello.
I sort of look at my party as well and give like a knowing look, like just roll with my persona at the moment. as much as I can, like, sort of get that across to them, like, because they know I'm something else completely different.
I just give you a wink. I'm like,
Make me a deception check, Mira. Yervith,
Yeah,
make me an insight check.
Here's +9.
Fantastic.
my deception's not bad. Not
28
bad.
for the insight, is it?
Oh, okay.
17 for
Deception's not even
deception.
that bad. It's just
Yeah, there's someone has expertise. Yeah, very clearly there's something going on here, some level of deception. The wink that is shared from Mira to this lizard folk does seem a bit odd, and you're now starting to pick up on some of the strange body language of this lizard folk. It doesn't look very natural. It's very like the way this lizard folk moves. It's almost like it's not 100% used to being this. Like, it walks like a much taller being, which is very, very strange.
Should I actually do
Stressed
maybe like
human.
a performance check?
Yeah, make a
To
performance
see-
check. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
there
yeah.
we go. I'm thinking more
That
very
might be
subtle
horrible.
things that he's going to pick up.
I rolled a
natural
9.
one. Natural one.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
it's actually even worse than what I was describing. This lizard
Oh,
folk is
no.
stomping around like it's twice as tall as it actually is. It keeps bumping into things and like not being able to step over stuff. Like, it doesn't look like it knows how to walk properly as a creature this size.
I like look really confused.
Oh wait, I have advantage on trying to pass this other.
Other creatures
yeah.
you do. Okay, you
It's
do.
my
You do.
active feat.
Yeah, you do. That's very
It
good.
can't be any worse.
That's well,
Sure.
Wow.
natural one.
Wow.
No, but it can be as bad.
Famous last words. Oh my god.
Oh,
Wait,
man,
I got an 11, a 9, an 8, and an 8. I deserve a fun coin, Owen.
Do you deserve a fun coin?
I think so.
All right.
Pass rolls.
Yeah, you've not had a great night tonight. Your
What
rolls
is it?
have
It's
not
been
been
an
great.
8, a 3,
Yeah.
2 1s.
Yeah. So I will grant you a have fun coin. So for those of you who don't know what the have fun coin is, this idea was created by Mark Sherlock Humes of the High Rollers group. When you have players who multiple times fail things, it's not very fun. Sometimes the dice gods just aren't on your side. So what we have is a system where if you have 3 or more fails in a row and it just keeps happening, I give you an advantage that you can use when you need it for the session. So it's a temporary advantage that you only have for this session, which means you've got it for the next 15 minutes, so use it well.
Perfect. I obviously can't do it in that roll, so.
No,
yes,
you have a fun
yes.
coin. And obviously, if you're watching us live, you can also grant advantage and disadvantage to our players using your channel points. You can spawn monsters, NPCs, all sorts of fun stuff that I have to then deal with on the fly. So please use, don't abuse. So yeah, as you sort of stand up, begin walking around, you hear a hushed voice sort of coming from the edge of the jungle area where you guys are. This way.
Where are you? Where have you gone? I told you to stay put.
And you see down towards the edge of this water, Seth is moving around trying to sort of spot where you're at. He's sort of moving backwards and forwards a little bit. He turns,
over
sort of
here.
realizing... Yeah, perfect, yeah. You highlight. He turns, sort of looking towards you, and a sort of this concerned look breaks into his face.
Where have you been? Who are you with? What is this?
As he says that, large black tentacles begin emerging from the water behind him.
Why did you name him?
What was that, sorry?
Why did you name him? He would have had a
So-
backstory and a family and everything, knowing your
My NPCs always have all of those things. Yeah, you watch as from the dark waters, these large black tendrils emerge. Yervith, you're probably going through some sort of Vietnam-style flashback right now.
Yeah. I'm like, not again.
Just to paint the picture for us a little bit. So like,
Yeah.
is this like a clearing in a big body of water
Yeah,
in
so
the
there's
jungle?
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. So it's a giant, basically like a massive lagoon that is this crystal clear blue water, but very quickly drops off into this very dark blue, midnight blue water that seems to just go down forever and ever. There is a small beach, almost like not many living things live within close range of the water. So creatures that come here to drink are quite exposed, and quite open. There is a beach, almost of this sort of rocky, sandy soil. Unfortunately, this map does not have it in black. Because it's volcanic rock, it is made of pumice, this ground down pumice that's been turned into sand. So it's this very dark, black sand. Unfortunately, limitations of the map. But yeah, as you sort of watch these tentacles wrap around Seth, Oh, that's very loud. Sorry. It's all right. Throw that down a little bit. Grab him and drag him towards this central mouth, which begins biting down. That's going to be initiative, everybody.
Yeah.
Make sure to click on your tokens and then click roll initiative, and it will roll 2.
Hey,
per token.
Where did the token go?
That's it. I better roll for this creature.
Ooh.
Hey,
Oh, it's crit.
that's
Perfect.
a
That's one.
I'm going to call this the Watcher.
Oh,
Nice.
good reference.
I just realized it didn't have a name. Okay. Lockie is first. Lockie, I better roll for Seth too. Lockie, you watch as, these tentacles wrap around Seth, pull him towards and begin biting down. Crimson blood flowing swiftly over the scales as he cries out this, ah! As the tentacles begin chomping down. He reaches out a hand towards you. What would you like to do?
How far away are we?
At this point, you are exactly as far as you are on the map, which looks to be, for
It's about
you,
60
60 feet.
60 feet. Okay.
To be honest, that's actually not as big as it would be. This isn't 100% to scale. I will move you guys a little bit closer. We're going to put the tree line was about there, because Yervith would have only taken you sort of 30 feet away. He said only a few paces away, so I think that makes more sense.
Yeah,
fair
we've got dynamic lighting on.
Yeah,
to
got it.
require-
Yeah.
I
Can you
can't.
guys see stuff or not?
No.
I can see the whole thing.
Here's what we're going to do. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just turn it off. We don't need it. I'll put some trees down to signify the...
Yeah.
I'll just chuck
Oh,
some trees in.
I can see things because my dark vision's 120 feet.
Yeah, I think it's because it is accidentally nighttime, so these guys
I
can't see.
still
I'm
can't
just gonna,
get to
gonna drop down some trees to sort of signify the tree line here.
That's beautiful, Owen.
Very cool.
Ooh.
Ooh.
It's a very cool tree, actually. Okay, well, I can't actually get to him this turn, so I'm going to... Ugh. No. Okay, I'm going to close the distance. I'm drunk! Alright, bring it. So I'm going to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Call it there. And then, have you ever seen those videos with that industrial grade crusher? Which is like the teeth that roll together like this?
Oh yeah, like one of these.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Lockie bends over, and across the back of his shoulder blade, there's one of those, and in each place where one of the teeth would be is a little charge, and it rolls over and it casts magic missile.
Oh, fantastic. Roll me some damage. Magic missile automatically hits. There we go. There we go. The tree line looks actually not as bad as I was expecting it to. That's actually
No,
fine.
it's good.
So you do 4 force damage. Oh, it's only rolled 1 missile.
Has it? Oh, dear.
Yeah. Do you know what you want to do? Here's what you do. Just roll however many d4s are left, and we'll then just add the number to that d4s, because you're all aiming it at this one mass of tentacles, so that's fine.
Okay. So it's 3 additional darts for each level above. So it's 6 darts. So
Yeah, so 6 darts. Just roll 5 more, and then we'll add 5 to it. Yeah, that'll be easiest. That's interesting. Roll20 doesn't have the ability to show you the multiple magic missiles. I didn't know that. That's frustrating.
Yeah.
I shall complain to the manager. So 12 plus 5 is 17, plus the 4 takes up to 21. You just, these missiles, these like blasts, are you gonna have them as be like bolts flying out of you?
Yeah, pretty much.
You watch as all these bolts begin sort of spewing out of Lockie, striking into the creature, these nuts and bolts, smacking into it, dealing this concussive damage. One of the tentacles is obliterated by this onslaught, and falls bloody into the water, this dark purple blood oozing across the surface of the water. The tentacles begin thrashing wildly, pulling Seth in either direction as they begin thrashing, and he cries out in pain. Anything else on your turn, Lockie?
Gears are going to wind, and I'm going to use my bonus action to cast Defensive Field again.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
bring my temporary hit points back up to 8.
Very nice. Our guest character, Yervith. Would you like to show off what you can do?
Yeah.
I will try my best.
He pulls out a great club, and barbarians start no.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm gonna look at this writhing tentacle mass, and I'm going
Yes.
to bonus action Hunter's Mark.
Absolutely. Give it a hunter's mark. I think we've just given away what you are.
Yeah, I think so.
What do you like for Hunter's Mark? I like the flag for Hunter's Mark. Let's use the flag.
Cool. So Hunter's Mark, the writhing tentacle mass.
Yes.
And then I'm going to, as an action, shoot my longbow.
Yeah,
Hit.
absolutely. 14 to hit is not enough, sorry. As the arrow flies out, you watch as it... so you're aiming for this sort of thicker part of the tentacle mass, like right towards the center. The writhing tentacles kind of throw off your aim ever so slightly. Probably also the memory of seeing the deer just pulled into the black waters. And as you let fly this arrow, it just two tentacles just move out of the way, and it just right past and into the water behind.
That's all right. I do get another shot.
You
so
do,
I'm
yeah.
gonna take another
Extra
shot.
attack, yeah, of course.
A question though, the lizard guy who is in contact, would he count as an ally?
Yes. Well, no, not for you, because...
Okay.
No. Oh, that's so hard.
Yeah.
I am going to count him as an ally.
Very good.
I'm going to, because you are trying to rescue him. You are attacking this thing to rescue him.
Yes.
If he was not an ally, you would be leaving him. So I will say that he is an ally because you are working to save him. So yes, I'm going to justify that.
Very good. So I'll take another shot with my longbow.
Yes.
15.
15. As you go to shoot, getting your aim true this time, the tentacles just out of instinct pull a little bit closer, sort of sensing something might have just struck them, which also pulls Seth a bit closer. At the last second, you have to tilt your bow up to avoid striking striking Seth instead of the creature, causing the arrow to right into the tree line above. Oh man, that sucks.
That's so bad. I do get another attack, I think, with my Dread Ambusher ability.
Yeah, it's Gloomstalker.
Yes,
Gloomstalker, yeah.
I believe you do. Yes.
Love Gloomstalker.
Yeah.
It is a Gloomstalker.
So I guess I attack normally.
Jungle Gloomstalker.
Yeah, just a
attack.
normal attack.
And we do
All your
this.
like attacks are like +9.
Oh my
it's hilarious.
goodness. Yeah, that will miss
Man.
too. rough.
I'm really sorry, that sucks.
That's okay.
And
I
it's
am
a shame
going
because you'd also get to do
to-
1d8 additional damage with this one too. Oh
I
man.
know.
Yeah, again, just the sight of this thing is causing your aim to just be put off. Also, probably the added difficulty of this lizard folk being pulled around by these tentacles, and it is really hard to shoot without hurting him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a fun coin because that is 3 fails in a row. So that is a fun coin for you.
Fantastic. I will.
And pretty bad rolls. Like those dice rolls, we're talking about a 5, a 6, and then a 2. That's
Got a
pretty
+9.
shocking dice rolls. Yeah. So given those dice rolls.
Yeah, I guess with that, I will just move a little bit more back into the foliage of the jungle, fall back a little bit.
Absolutely. You guys watch as in quick succession, within 6 seconds, Yervith just looses 3 arrows at this thing. I guess he would swear a little bit in Elvish under his breath and move back towards the tree line.
I'm quite frustrated. I'm like, God.
Yeah.
I actually, if he does curse in Elvish, I will understand that.
He
I
says
100%
fuck in Elvish.
Yeah,
But it sounds like
Silvasked. Yeah.
very mad.
Yeah.
Very colourful Elvish words.
Actually, do you know what? It probably even like Geralt starts just fuck. And then,
Yeah.
a very Geralt style. Fuck. Mira, you are up next.
Alright, Mira will raise both her hands, silver and red, and cast Fireball behind this monster.
Yes.
And
It doesn't hit our boy.
So it's only a boy, and it'll look a little different to her usual magic now. So instead of this beautiful like red fireball, at the center is this icy comet-like thing, and then around it is the fire. And she will also bonus action quicken spell to do fireball. So it's like a double.
Double fireball.
So I
not a
have
double fireball, but I can only do cantrip.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have a bit of a treat for you, Claire. I was predicting that you would do something like this, and you will see. Oh, it's so hard to see. I'll quickly switch it out for a more strong eyes. I actually have the textures for this.
that's cool.
I was
I
ready.
can see it.
Well,
There we go. That should be a bit better.
the flavor
There we
is
go. That's a bit
coming.
better.
reflavored all my spells now. All spells.
Fantastic.
So-
For YouTube and live stream viewers, I have actually on the map a massive sort of central ice crystal surrounded by fire. I was ready for this. So I believe I need to make a dexterity saving throw.
You do. I hope
I
the
better make that
20
dexterity saving throw.
You
17.
17 is.
And I've got a -1 to dex as well for this thing. It's not very
Wow.
dexterous. Yeah,
Wow.
I rolled an 18. Half damage. Roll me some damagios. Let's see some. And you sorry, did you do 2 fireballs? You quicken spell.
So I
No,
can't do 2
twin
fireballs. I can do a fireball and a
Firebolt.
cantrip. Firebolt.
Eyeball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I was going to say,
that
because
would
you
be-
can't do 2 spells, Claire, you know this. But you do know this, so I'm not going to mansplain you. Oh, 30 damage is still pretty good. Okay. 15 damage, yeah.
Plus 5 because I have elemental.
Oh, yes,
affinity.
elemental affinity. Yep, absolutely.
And then to hit the firebolt.
Yep.
My firebolt, which is the blue component of
Yes.
this. That's a 30. No, that's not right. That's. I didn't click on the right things. Attack. Attack. No, you're not working. Alright.
It's okay.
Oh,
There
there
you
we
go.
go.
Oh, natural 1. I'm so sorry.
Inspiration.
Yes, you can use your inspiration, absolutely. Because you had one from, I think, a viewer had given you one a session or 2 ago, so you do have one. So absolutely, you can roll that again. And the other thing as well is you've cast a spell of a high level. Have you changed the damage type at all? No, you kept it as fire.
No, I will
Okay,
keep it as
so,
fire.
so you will not. There will not be a roll on the elemental, a random effect table.
Oh, I don't want to.
Do you want to trigger it? You can trigger it. You can choose to.
Yeah, why not? I want to change to ice.
Okay.
To cold.
Ice damage, yeah. So spell attack 21, that hits. So let's do the damage for the firebolt too. And then I will get you to roll me a D100. And we're going to see what the random elemental effect is of your activation.
So
7 damage. Not bad, not bad. And elemental affinity. So is that? Do you get that in both times? Yes, you would. Yeah, you would. Yep.
Yep.
7.
Ah,
That's 5. Yes, please roll me a D100, Claire.
woohoo! 89.
89. You watch as the ice crystals that fly out of Mira's hand, that condense and coalesce around this thing, begin sort of spiraling back towards Mira, collecting around her. Mira, for the next turn, you have large, icy, draconic wings growing out of your back as the ice crystals adhere to your spine and grow into massive ice wings. You have a flying speed of 60 feet for a single turn.
That's cool.
That's fucking cool.
That's sick.
I had a lot of fun writing this table.
Oh, this is going to be so cool.
Like dive bomb.
Yeah. How often can I do that? I didn't see that.
Isn't it on the magic item? I'll add it in. From memory, you've got a number of charges that you can do per day. I'll chuck it in. Because I'll say most of the effects are somewhat beneficial. There's 1 or 2 that are disastrously bad, which I'm quite a fan of, that I really hope you roll. And unlike most people, I did not have these in order of like 1 is the worst, 100 is the best. I have randomized this table in Excel, so you have no idea what's
Perfect.
coming. Yeah. I like to keep it fresh. So you have ice crystals. Your movement speed is 60 feet if you choose to fly. You can fly and maneuver yourself if you wish to. Up to you.
Not right now, but I will consider that.
Okay. They will have disappeared by the next turn, just so you know. You've only got them for 1 turn.
Oh, just for now.
Just
Oh.
for a turn.
Oh, okay. Oh no. I'll
It's-
fly up into the tree. I'll fly up into the tree.
Yeah, easy. Basically, the design of these was you keep ending up in melee combat, and so I designed these as a get out of Mira free card. Like if you're a sorcerer in melee combat, these are like an escape hatch. This is your
my fault, though, not Mira's fault.
yeah, it's fair. This is an ejector seat. Like Mira in the last moment, like about to be struck down by a barbarian, if she activates this, is able to be like yeet, just disappear into the stratosphere. You just fly up into a tree. Absolutely. You're positioned in a tree. as you flap. These sort of like snow falls from the wings as you flap up, leaving a dusting of snow on the black sandy shore. These white ice crystals coalescing beneath you. Very stark, very striking image. As you land in the tree, the wings sort of, as they brush the leaves, begin freezing them solid, creating a little layer of frost around them. Anything else in your turn, Mira?
No, I'm done.
Jin, I'd love to see your turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. About here, actually. I'll stay there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cast at the very back of it, so it doesn't hit our friend here. I'm gonna cast. Everyone seems to be missing, other than Mira. I'm gonna cast Fairy Fire.
Yep.
Oh.
Sort of towards the back, so it doesn't obviously hit anyone. So give me a Dex saving throw, please. As I sort
15.
of. Yeah, so I've darted. Okay, ooh. So the DC is 15. Can I
makes
use
the
my
DC.
reaction
Yeah.
to use cutting words?
Yes, I will allow it. Technically, you should have said it before, but I will allow it.
So it's
because
you
it's
can
a reaction
do so
to a
after the
creature
roll,
passing. Oh yeah, but not before the
but
consequence.
before
Yeah.
knowing the results.
No,
So
that's fair. I
you
did
only said the
immediately
roll.
say, yeah, that's true. So yeah, go for it.
Yep. So I think this will automatically. It's a D8. So take 5
That's
off
it.
that.
That's it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's failed it. So
down to
now
10.
I use one bardic inspiration for that cutting
Yep.
words.
I'll give it a
But
fairy
it
fire.
goes through. So it's fairy fired now. Everyone has advantage.
Yeah, it's not liking that.
And then as a bonus action.
Yervith's just so happy. He's like, yes.
Yeah.
Give me that sweet, sweet advantage.
Cool. So that's up. I'm going to also just do my bonus action. May as well just do Hexblade's Curse.
Yeah.
30 feet though. Let me just see if I'm within range. Cool. Yeah, I got it. I'll just do a Hexblade's Curse as well. It's the only bonus action I can do, so I may as well do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That doesn't do anything to it for now though. That only really activates when I do damage.
Exactly. I will mark it with another symbol. Wow, you guys are just stacking on modifiers. Let's do for Hexblade's Curse. I like the key, the lock. The lock as if you've locked off an ability. Out of interest, which ability did you want to lock off?
That's Hex. This is
Oh
Hexblade's
yeah,
Curse.
sorry. Hexblade's Curse is different. Yeah, sorry.
I'll quickly put this in for you so you can
Yeah,
have a
thank
look.
you. It's just extra damage for you. Sorry, I keep getting those mixed up. Let's do this one for Hex then. The chain around
So
the hearts.
Hex.
That seems appropriate.
Hex is also a
Crit on a 19 or a 20,
concentration.
right?
Oh, Hexblade's Curse is.
Hexblade's
Hex
Curse
is
is
a concentration, so I can't do that.
Yeah.
Unless I want to drop the Fairy Fire, so I won't do that.
Exactly. Cool. Anything else in your turn, Jin?
I've literally used all my
That's
things.
it. Yeah.
The one thing I have to ask is,
Yeah.
do I get a reaction? How does reactions work? Like, do I gain one at the end of my turn because I've used it this turn? Like, do I have none for the rest until my next turn?
You've got none to your next turn because you used
Okay.
your reaction. Yeah. So you get your reactions back. I think it's the beginning of your turn. You get your reactions
not
back,
sure.
not the end of the turn. I'm pretty confident that's the case.
It's
Let's
all
check.
good.
Let's do a quick rules check. Reactions 5e. Let's have a
Yeah.
quick look. Whoever gets there first gets a bonus. The start of your next turn. Sorry.
That's
I
fine.
was pretty confident it was the start. To
Hey,
stop
look,
people
it-
doing
it
stuff
worked.
like that.
Yeah, no, it worked out well though. Like, now it's verified, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Watcher.
that's it. My turn.
The tentacles all move aside. Seth is sort of slammed into the beach, taking a little bit of damage. The tentacles drop. This large central mass rises up out of the water and shoots this ball of inky blackness towards you guys. It is going to land. I'll just quickly see where that's going to land. Yeah, probably the best point for it to drop that bad boy is right here, because you guys are all nicely grouped up around this spot here.
Yeah, we are, aren't we?
You are very nicely grouped up. Thank you for that. So it's going to drop this cloud of inky blackness. Now, the question I have is...
Oh, because I hit everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could everybody please make me a dexterity saving throw, please?
Oh, this is gonna go.
14.
14, yep.
Is that the saving throw?
Sixteen.
Is this a
So we've got
poison
Let's have a quick look. This is not poison, this is acid. So we've got 19 from Lyra, 15 from Mira, 7 from Lockie, 21 from Yervith. 15 and above is a pass. So Mira, you just pass. Jin, you're just under. Sorry, mate. Lockie, you're definitely under. Under.
I'm not actually.
Okay, so yeah.
I might actually use my fun coin.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. Yeah, absolutely.
Or actually, I won't.
Okay. So here's what happens as this glob of incular blackness, as this globular blob of inky blackness, just getting my spoonerisms, my rhythm spoons, strikes the sand, it explodes, showering you in this dark black smoke that actually seems to hang around. The splash of this as it contacts you burns. Anyone who passed the save takes half damage. Anyone who failed takes full damage. I'm really sorry, guys. It is 22 points of acid damage from this. I'm so sorry. I rolled almost max damage. The good news is it regenerates on a 5 or a 6. I rolled a 4. As this shoots out and strikes each of you. The tentacles are then going to try and tear Seth apart. Actually, Lockie, you're not within 15 feet of this thing, are you?
I may be.
You lucky piece of shit. 20 feet. Never mind. Carry on, Lockie. Seth takes the brunt of this then. Oh, no. Fuck, that's a crit. Sorry, Seth.
Oh no.
Seth is torn in half. This creature literally tears Seth apart as it deals 18 damage on top of the 12 it had already dealt to him. Seth is torn in half. He is just ripped in half by these tentacles. His guts spray across the beach onto the sand. Seth is no more. Sorry, guys. Shit, I wasn't expecting the NPC to die so quickly. That was. I didn't think I was gonna crit on that. Yeah.
Really glad you didn't get me with that one. Just
the Watcher, now that it's no longer bound by, because it's no longer grappling Seth, which means it can move, which means it is in range to Lockie. So it's used up one action tentacle. It's got one more tentacle strike. I'm sorry, Lockie. As it rips forward, Lockie.
Yes.
Does a natural 1 hit you? No, an 8. I'm balancing out the crit as the tentacle whips towards you, as this creature tries to grapple you. Maybe let's explain, like the acid that's coating you. You sort of like are moving blindly around trying to wipe this off as you feel it damaging your internal components. You move just out of the way of this tentacle as it slams into the beach near you, wraps around a portion of sand and pulls it back towards this creature, but it is unable to grab you. That's the end of its turn. It's used up everything it's got. Lyra, you're up next. While you are in this inky cloud of blackness and covered in this acid, it's partially obscured. It's like a little bit like a fog cloud in a way. So it is partially
If I
obscured.
step out of it, like if I step left, will I be fully fine?
Yeah, you can move out of it. Of course you can.
Yeah, okay, so she moves out of the ink cloud.
Yeah.
Fuck you, ink cloud.
Yep.
And actually, no, she'll not take a step backwards. She may even take one in that direction.
Yep.
To get out of the cloud, and then so now that it's no longer obscured,
Yep.
she's going to drop down a 3rd level moonbeam as her action.
Oh, fuck yes. I love the moonbeam. 3rd level, you
is
say?
Is that with advantage?
No,
as
because
well,
it's a con
fairy
save,
fire?
the moonbeam. So
No.
it's a con save. So unfortunately not. Let's see if I've got a cool image for the moonbeam. Let's see my
Druid.
library.
Oh, that's a good roll. That's a really good roll.
Not bad.
2 5s and a 6.
Nice.
It's the best moon image that I have.
Hell yeah.
I see 9 plus 5 plus 5.
I like that. That's pretty.
So it's even better than the 6.
So the moonbeams are 10 foot, isn't it? From memory.
It's D10s, not D6s.
Oh, it's a Mandela.
Yeah, I love the mandala so much that I'm actually literally wearing one right now.
Oh wow.
Nice.
You've been moonbeamed.
I've been
In real life.
moonbeamed.
real
Yeah, I've been
life.
hardcore moonbeamed. So the con save. Let me just double check because I have made this mistake with moonbeam before. It's a creature that starts its turn.
Level. Yeah, on its turn, so it's
Yeah.
not now. it's later.
Perfect. Yeah, I did think that. Cool. And it's this.
Down, and then
When a
every-
creature enters the spell area for the first time or starts its turn, it's engulfed in ghostly flames. Yeah, beautiful.
But
wow,
at least
third
the damage is already there, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so 19
Ready.
radiant damage. Yeah, I mean, look, I'll tell you what, I'll already add it. Oh, no, I've got to roll the con save. I'll do that when we get to its turn. Just try to remind me
Yep.
if I forget. And then, yes, Lyra,
And
bonus action.
then as a bonus action, she's going to shift into a giant eagle.
Yep.
And she's got a speed of 80 foot, so yeah, she can reach that guy, can't she?
Don't have a token for your
Oh,
giant
where's
eagle
my-
yet. We
where's
will
my
have
measuring
to.
cup?
Pretty
No measuring. Yeah, she can. Yeah.
There you go. I'll give you control of that token. And I will get a token for your giant eagle. I just realized you don't have one.
Yep.
Which is stupid because you're going to use the giant eagle every time you can now because you've got access to flying forms. So I
I mean,
really should have.
probably a decent amount.
Really should have been prepared for that the giant eagle would make a turn. I'll hide Lyra up towards the fog cloud. I'll hide Lyra up towards there just to keep her out of the way for the moment, so that you can still see her on the initiative. Oh, whoops, that's not good. It turns out if you stretch her face, it looks hilarious. Lyra, you should have control of the eagle now. Please feel free to move yourself freely.
Okay, so she's gonna move
Bit of
that.
body horror there.
40
Sorry for that.
She's gonna move the 40 feet to the in like a direct line.
Mhm.
Attack the tentacly inky
Yep.
dude with her multi-attack.
Hate to be this
You
dude,
can't,
but I don't
'cause
think
you
you
did.
can.
Yeah, because you did moonbeam.
Oh shit! You're right. Yep. Never mind.
No, it's good
Yep.
though. That's probably like the best sequence of like sort of stuff.
In
to
which
do.
case, she does not fly towards there. She goes directly up.
Cool. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll chuck you there.
Sorry.
How?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
you can move yourself where you want to be. While you're doing that,
Yep.
we will jump over to the Lockmeister. Lockie, you are covered in acid.
I am. This is uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah.
Oil.
This does not feel nice.
This is not what my gears should be doing. They are grating against each other in most
This
desperate
is not optimal.
This is the
not
opposite.
even-
The opposite of the lovely whale oil that you've had access to previously.
Yes. I was enjoying the scent of that, even though I can't smell. Okay, so I'm going to go. Bear with me. 5. Whoops, that's definitely the wrong button. Apologies. I'm going to go 5. Come on. What did I say? Thank you. 5. Whoops. 10. 15, 20, 25, and then I'm going to. There's a reason I did that. I'm going to.
I'm pleased to hear that.
Okay, there I'm going to hit him with my Grimfled Blade, which is
Grimfled Blade? Yep.
Grimfled Blade.
Get the grunt from
Really
up.
fine blade for those playing at home. So it little mists come out of the outside of his cogs, and he's going to strike it against his body, and it's going to fire up, and he's going to take 2 swings with it.
Amazing. Let's see it.
With advantage.
Yes, with advantage.
So that's the first one.
16 is just enough to hit.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Just enough.
Let me just roll damage for that. So that's the
So
mace
bludgeon
damage.
damage, very nice.
Grimfled Blade damage
Run from
is
red. Well, he's taking a bit. This guy's taking some hits. He's not liking this very much.
2d8 fire. So I'm just going to roll 2d8.
Fire damage.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
2d8, which was not a lot. But that's fine. And I'm going to take my second attack. Now, is the second attack Grimfled Blade, or is it just a normal mace attack?
I'm pretty sure it's because you've leveled
I
up.
think
Oh, it's a good question.
I
Let's
think
look at
Green
the
Flame
group.
Blade though, because it's a cantrip attack. I don't think it actually is a
No,
attack action.
it's not an attack action. So you do the cantrip instead of the attack, and it does the extra damage instead of doing the multi-attack.
Yeah, that's why it does. So the cantrip will
Um,
scale with damage, so you can still it'll still be good for people who only hit
so
once.
that's exactly right. Yep. And it's just that you get extra damage from it, so that it stays level with the attack action.
That's fine. Then I won't worry about that. So I'm going to then bonus action.
Hmm?
I'm going to shatter myself.
Okay.
And
Boots the winding path.
which is
Where
why
would
I
you
did
like
that
to-
before.
Yeah, where would you like to reform?
5, 10. I was standing there at 15, I believe.
Perfect, Mundo.
So so all his cogs just like kind of like one little one goes and fires. So actually, no, he would have dropped it when he ran now because we changed that. So they will basically he locks all his gears up and builds attention to the gears until he just flies apart, and then it's sort of like this magnetic energy just pulls it back to where he was, and he builds himself back up, ready to go again.
Yeah, very very Iron Giant style, where he just reassembles himself into position.
Great movie.
Great movie. Lockie, that's your turn. Fantastic. Yervith.
Alrighty.
You're
Well,
gonna let this tentacle fuck beat bop all over you. What are you doing?
You might actually hit it this time.
I might actually hit it this time. I'm gonna move. Yeah, I know, right? I'm gonna move over to this tree. So we're gonna go from tree to tree. And now that this tentacle beast is lit up for me, thank you, Jen. I'm going to take some shots with it.
Absolutely.
Thank Garut.
Got a
Yes.
feeling this is gonna
Garut.
be brutal. 3 attacks, all with advantage.
No, one attack. One attack.
Oh, okay.
Two attacks. Sorry, 2 attacks.
Yeah, 2 attacks.
Yeah. So I get the third attack for my first turn of combat.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's only the first turn. Yeah, and you get the bonus 10 feet movement, I think, from memory as well.
Yes, that's
Yep.
right.
Yeah,
I've never played a
Gloomstalker's really
Gloomstalker.
good
I've always
for
wanted
first.
to. Yeah,
Gloomstalker's
I know.
all about the.
especially when combined with Colossus Slayer as well as the yeah. Let's see some attacks. Yervith, roll those dice,
I'm
baby.
gonna roll with. Okay, so I'm gonna attack. Let's roll.
Yep,
16, I'll roll
16's good. That's definitely hit already, so that's a nice
I'll roll
start.
again to see if I get a crit.
Get that crit, you
Yeah,
deserve
I
it. 15.
don't.
So 16 hits. So you got the first hit. Do you want to just roll to see they all hit and then roll damage?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll
Both
roll
you
again.
and Lockie have both gotten 16 to
Six.
15s.
Yeah.
18. So both attacks hit. So you're good to go. That is both attacks hit.
So I'll
Yeesh.
roll damage for
Does
the first one.
Yep.
So that's going to be 8 and then 6 for the sneak attack. I'll roll again for the second.
Question is, would you get the sneak attack in this situation? Because
He
there's no one
does.
next to it.
Advantage. He has
Oh,
advantage.
of course,
on
yeah, of course.
the
Sorry, I'm
attack.
having a stupid moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. 8
Silly
plus 6.
Owen.
Yep.
Nah, it's all good.
Jeez.
And I'll get the Hunter's Mark damage as well.
Exactly. Yep.
I'll roll that again. I'll just cast it again, so it's 4.
Yep.
And I'll get I'll do the second damage as well.
Absolutely.
So that's another.
So only get sneak attack once though.
Alright,
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know why it's rolling in the.
That's
roll
fine.
No,
It
it
just-
rolls it every time just so that you can see it.
Oh,
Ooh,
that's handy. Okay.
Jared, something really fun's happening with your webcam.
Oh,
Oh, you're back.
Yeah.
That was really
what
cool.
happened?
You pixelated for a second. It's like full blown
Oh.
pixelation. It was
Oh,
great. It
I
was
can
really fun.
see it.
Yeah.
I can see that on the stream.
Yeah. Anything else you ever? That was awesome. That was some good damage.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
that's
good.
weird.
That's very good.
Mira.
Mira.
Start thinking about your turn, Mira. Yervith, you all done?
Do I get Hunter's Mark damage again for the second attack?
Yes.
Yes, yeah,
it
yeah.
applies to every attack.
So do you want to use it
I-
4 again, or do you want to roll it again?
We'll leave it with the 4. So we'll do
Yeah,
the
I'm happy for you to
four as
roll it once each turn. That's fine.
well.
You also have a bonus action still.
Yeah, if
I
you want to
do.
use it.
I will bonus action hide. Then.
Yeah, nice.
That's
Do you want to roll me a
good.
stealth
Yeah.
check right now? And I'll.
Absolutely.
I've got a feeling you're going to be able to hide from it. 29. Nah, its eyes are
close.
locked on that. You see one of the tentacles like come out from the tree next to you, and it's literally just an eye on a tentacle connected to this main thing, just watching
I'll
like
say yes.
periscope.
Like War of the Worlds, where it like
Yeah.
comes in. And, yeah.
That's it. Mira, would you like to have your turn?
Yes, I would like to move
I
further
miss him.
into this tree if I can.
Yeah, you just sort of move back into the tree. Do you want to make me a quick acrobatics check?
Okay.
Just a little one. Just a little acrobatics check.
Pull out, I know.
Natural
No,
20, 22.
Wow,
You wrap your dragonborn tail around one of the branches, swing up to a higher position, and like position yourself in the fork of a tree. You have like laser eyes sight on this thing. You are locked and loaded, and ready to go.
Excellent. Well, in that case, she will kind of feeling the frost, the frosty leaves around her from the residual elemental energy.
Yeah.
So just raise your hands, and all of the frost and the moisture coalesces up into the air, arcs over the top of this thing, and will come down as an ice storm. So you need to make another dexterity saving throw, please.
Yes, it will be my absolute pleasure. Oh, that's a 6, so I'm guessing it passes.
Yeah.
No, he takes 2d8 bludgeoning and 4d6 cold damage.
Oh, roll those. This is gonna be bad.
Ooh.
Whoa, shit.
Ooh.
Okay.
then-
So let me add that right now.
4th level.
Nice.
And then
That's a spell.
I'll use another sorcery point to do Quicken Spell for another Firebolt.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
You haven't changed. It's still ice damage you're doing, the cold damage. So
Feels
that's fine.
cold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. So if you're gonna change it.
Just kind
Oh.
of.
Wow.
Do you want to roll to hit first though?
Whoa.
Because you don't automatically hit with the firebolt.
No.
15 damage is sweet, but I
Yeah.
will make you roll first. Oh, I'm
Attack
sorry,
roll
Mira.
thing.
I do
You have
think-
advantage.
Yeah.
Advantage.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do have
The
advantage.
fairy fire, that's right.
Sweet fairy fire. That.
It doesn't work.
Oh, no. Sucks.
Sorry.
That's
As the
the
firebolt,
Hey,
as the firebolt
the
just
ice
strikes the
storm,
water
though.
and it just sizzles. Anything else on your turn, Mira? It's
I
not
know.
great. That was terrible. This creature's. I'm not happy about this. You guys have done too much damage. Jin, it is your go.
Okay. I'm going to run
Oh,
over
actually,
here.
I
5,
probably should have got a
10,
concentration check on
15,
you for the damage you
20,
took for the
30.
acid.
Ah, yes.
I'll grab that con save now. I'm sure you'll be fine. Yeah, you're fine.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to run over here, and as I'm sort of running, I'm going to cast a spell.
Yes.
And from my it looks a bit more of a radiant nature. As I'm sort of like, have a quick look. So as I'm sort of saying some words and using some doing some somatics, so some signs with my hands and stuff.
Yep.
Like an ethereal green sword will appear next to this creature. Wait, how much is it?
So you summon a
60 feet.
spiritual weapon.
Yes, spiritual weapon.
I will summon a sword for you in a second. Yeah, that'll do. Be a nice little sword. Right there?
Yeah, perfect.
I'll give you control
Yep.
of it too. Where are we? Theory and Whisper Winds. There you are. You should have control of that sword now.
Perfect. So I'll leave it there. I'm going to. When you cast a spell, you can make a melee spell attack against a creature within 5 feet of it. So I will do a attack with it.
Absolutely, why not?
So if I cast that on VTT, does it do the attack?
It should
Yes,
do. Yes.
it does.
Oh, 23, 7 force damage. Yikes.
I'll just roll. I'm just gonna roll a flat D20 just to see if it crit. No crit.
No crit.
Cool. So yeah, 7
19 would have been
force-
cool then.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, 19
What's
actually
your
works for me.
What's your Hexblade's curse?
So that does an extra 3 bonus damage to the damage roll, so that does 10 damage.
Yep, done. Entered in. This creature, you just sliced through one of the tentacles. As the ice storm tore through, you saw a number of the tentacles freeze in place. This sword just cuts through and slashes, the ice sort of shattering and the tentacles dropping into the water. There's only a handful of tentacles left. This thing is looking very much hurt. Anything else in your turn, Jin?
I will. I'll use my action. So as I've sort of cast these like sort of radiant sort of spells, or it's probably not really radiant so much as it's still got the ethereal green sort of feel to it,
Sort of
and that
ethereal
sort
sword,
of pops up and starts slicing in. I'm going to then follow it up with like this sort of that familiar sort of ethereal green sort of swirling motion, like energy in my hands. That then I start to do
Eldritch
some
Blast.
Eldritch Blast.
Pew, pew, pew away. Fire them lasers. 19's going to hit. 7 force damagios plus another 3 for your Hexblade's curse, so that's 10.
Yep. So,
Nice.
oh, that's 9. 9, Owen. I'm only doing the first damage.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry. I didn't even see that one. Sorry. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your honesty. I didn't even see the first one.
I'm just doing these for rolls, and
Yeah,
then I'll
absolutely.
take the first damage.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't
That's
even
another
see
24.
That's going to hit 5
So that's
force
5
damage.
force damage and plus 3.
Oh man, yeah. Eldritch Blast just shatters another tentacle that's been frozen by this ice. Yeah, this thing begins squealing, this awful gurgling noise bubbling up from the water. Anything else in your turn, Jin?
Just having a quick look. Yeah, none of them are 19s.
Fantastic.
Bonus action's done, main action's done. Yeah, I'll pass my turn.
At the beginning of its turn, its cloud of smog, poison smog, disappears, and it makes a con save for the moonbeam. If it fails this, 14. What's your DC? 15.
Don't say the result.
Oh, there we go. So what was the damage? Was it 19?
19 damage.
Oh, that's one.
That's spicy.
How do you want to do this?
Yeah, nice.
I think what happens is, so what time of day is it right now?
It's late afternoon. The moon is in the sky, sort of visible on
Alright.
the horizon. Yeah. Sorry, I should
Cool.
say. Sorry.
So-
There are 2 moons around Nostea. There are 2 moons. Phoebe
Alright,
and
well,
Melody.
whichever of the moons seems cooler, it starts looking like.
One is a silvery blue. One is a darker orange.
Well, it's got to be silvery blue because of the
Perfect.
color of the mandala.
Phoebe's slightly bigger, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So it looks like it's getting bigger and bigger in the sky as it goes. And what eventually happens is the circle of moonbeam light that opens up in the space where the creature tentacles are, and it's just gets completely blasted, like a giant beam from something out of Star Trek, just complete annihilation, nothing left.
Yeah.
Also, my camera batteries have died, and it's left me on a really great freeze frame.
That's okay. That's okay. I was prepared for this. I have your player photo. I can turn off your camera, and we can just see your photo instead. I will do that for you right now. So if I turn
I had
off,
2 batteries,
There we
but
go.
Cora's sleeping on them.
no, it's all good. I was prepared for this if that was going to happen, so that's fine. Yeah, you watch as this blast of silvery blue energy just descends. The creature begins disintegrating. The last of the tentacles sort of turning to ash and dust as the moonbeam just pulses with this devastating light. And you watch as it, along with the body of Seth, is disintegrated, leaving this incredible what's it called? Fulgurite, when you have the lightning strike sand. So the energy from this moonbeam basically melts the sand into this layer of glass in this sort of swirling pattern as you are now out of initiative. There is nothing left behind of this creature or Seth, just this burned glass circle in the sand on the edge of the water that sort of tips slightly and begins very slowly sliding into the water, this circle of glass. And with
Before
that...
it has a chance
Oh, yes?
before it has a chance to escape into the water, can Lyra just quickly snag it?
The glass? Yeah, just rush up and grab it.
Yeah, she wants the glass.
Yeah, so you have a 10-foot diameter, very brittle piece of burnt glass made from the sand, the energy sand. As you sort of pull it back, can you make me a sleight of hand check to see how delicately you handle this?
She
last
is
roll of
also
the night.
still an eagle.
Ah, fantastic. You do this with disadvantage with your paws.
What skill
Excellent.
is sleight of hand?
Dexterity. So just 2 dex checks. You are not proficient as an eagle. This is gonna be great. I'm ready for the sound of eagle talons on glass. 9. As you grab it, it shatters. The sort of the temperature differential, it just cracks and shatters, leaving you holding this shard of fulgurite in your talons on the edge of the beach, as the rest of it just immediately starts dropping and shattering into the sand. And with that, as you were all sort of standing around looking at the lake, at the edges of this blue hole, that is where we will leave things for tonight. Come back next session.
I'll
Yes.
go up to I'll just very quickly
Yeah.
go up to you and just be like, so do you need? Are you looking go work, and she'll hand him a business card.
Wow.
The business card, so Claire / Mira had these made up. So the business card she hands you, Yervith, it's a very fine. Actually, do you want to describe them, Mira? Sorry.
A business card.
Yeah.
Oh no, we haven't made a symbol, but it's the Tempest Guild Adventuring Company, with a contact address.
Yeah, which is the Night Hall, Manor in Oxenfurt, which you would know about. It's an old family estate, this prestigious family home on the river. It looks like it's been gifted to them as their guild hall.
Yeah, Yervith does like the equivalent of like the new intern, like going for a job. He like straightens up. He's like, well, yes, actually, in fact, I was in the market. And, like awkwardly grabs the business card, like.
You sort of hear off in the distance, Jin just go, well, what else were you going to do in a jungle?
Wow.
All alone.
And that bullying is where we will end for tonight. Man, that was an awesome session. That was great. Thank you so much, everybody. I had a lot of fun. That was really, really good. Thank you so much, Matt, for joining us. Please stick around. We want to see more of Yervith. So if you're keen to come back next week, we're so keen to have you. Awesome. I'll bring us back to the webcam map just for this last little bit, so we can say goodbye in glorious high definition. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming and joining us. I hope you have really, really enjoyed the session tonight. Episode 44 tonight, so just a few episodes. So we're up to our midlife crisis. What are we going to do for it? Or is Yervith our midlife crisis? Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, everybody. We will see you all later. I will be back at some point during the week. I Expect You to Die 2 has just dropped on Steam, which means I'm obviously going to be wanting to play that in VR. So that's going to be really fun. I'm also keen to do a bit of an Akron stream if anyone's around on the weekends, which is a VR game where I'm in VR and you guys are on your phones, and it's a really fun game, like competitive. You guys are cooperative against me, which is lots of fun. Like, it's always great when you can team up against the Dungeon Master. Although in this one I'm a giant tree, so I'm sort of like, it's hard to explain Akron. It's better experienced. If I explain it, it just sounds a bit weird, but experience, it's amazing. But yeah, we will be back next Wednesday. So stay safe, stay well, and we will see you all next time. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you later.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Farewell, everybody.